Hello everyone, and welcome to Twitch Tales, Season 5, Episode 2, or Episode 70, if you're counting them that way. Where did we leave off in Episode 69? Nice. Well, Apis had just arrived back on the material plane from a portal from the Feywild, or perhaps not a portal, as it may turn out, from the Feywild, having forgotten all of our time there. We had a note in hand from the Merry Gentleman, we assumed, saying, you need to find a village in the East Renlark. There's a friend there that can help. There are some Sentinels that need fixing. It's of utmost importance, yada yada, blah blah blah. We started wandering off, trying to find where the hell we are, in the middle of this forest, in the middle of nowhere. And we started to lose track of our minds. We got muddled, we got confused, we kept forgetting why we were there and where we were heading for, which direction we were going in. We got turned around a couple of times and got a little bit confused, kept having to reread this note in our hand that we kept forgetting the details of. Until we reached a waterfall that was in the shape of a woman. It was a perfectly curated waterfall, such that the water splashed down to create the long flowing hair of this elven woman. We mentioned to this waterfall, hey, we're looking for Sentinels, we're looking for a village, we're looking for people, there's a note, do you know, am I talking to a waterfall, what do I do? And then some birds, overhearing, took off and went and found Seed, one of the guardians of this forest. Seed arrived in the form of a giant air elemental owl, and upon trying to scare you away, you mentioned, I'm here from the Merry Gentleman? And Seed, dropped his form back to his wood elf form and said, I know the Merry Gentleman, come with me. You followed Seed back to his village, an abandoned elven village in the Drenlark forest, to where he introduced you to his friend Pointy, his pet, a very unorthodox pet, Roper, a very monstrous creature that Seed has raised from a young age, so he follows him and his commands, despite being of evil nature. Pointy best friend, yes. And also introduced you to another friend of his, another guardian of this particular forest, a unicorn called Julius. In this elven village, there is this gigantic elven tree, this huge mythical, magical tree, it seems, in the centre of the village, surrounded by a large moat. You found a herb garden growing potion ingredients. You found lots of fairies and sprites and blink dogs and owls, sort of taking residence in this village, and a huge stone wall up one end of this valley, and a bunch of thorny bushes around it. You kind of got a few of your questions answered by Julius, including the fact that you weren't meant to appear in the middle of the forest in the middle of nowhere. You were actually meant to come through this tree which happens to be a portal to the Feywild and the Shadowfell at the very least. It seems to be a plug that keeps the different planes of existence kind of in line with one another. Also, Julius seems to understand it. That is, I think, where we left off. I don't believe there's anything of noteworthy that I've missed. So we'll start there. You guys were just about to have a long rest in this village. You were exhausted from a long day of travelling and forgetting a lot of things. You've no idea what time of day you woke up this morning because you woke up on a different plane of existence. So you might, for all you know, have been awake for a couple of days straight. It certainly feels like it. You are exhausted and a lot has happened. You've just finished a feast. Seed seems to have a way with animals. He is not at all book smart and barely speaks common, having a very raised by wolves kind of Tarzan backstory. Very, very street smart and wise about the ways of the forest and how to survive, but not at all book smarts or charismatic. He had a ritual where he talked to a bunch of the animals and sort of got them to do his bidding for the next 24 hours, and then you all had a feast together. And you're full from the feast and heading to bed. Is there anything you want to do in the last few minutes before you are setting up your bed and going to sleep? We're going to ask the dice something. Right, yes. So, something I haven't included in the recap. Right in the center of our inventory below me is a set of bone dice. They come in a nice little carved wooden box. And inside are some bone dice created, if the Arcanist is to be believed, the one that identified these for us, created by the bones of a centaur, known for their divinatory abilities. You can roll these dice however many times a day that you want, but upon the first time of the day that you roll them, you will get a question answered with 100% truthfulness. It may be vague in its answer, but it will be truthful. Usually you get the best answers from asking it a wheel or woe question, a yes or no question. But you can ask it, theoretically, anything you want. It will try to answer some element of your future or present truthfully. And then after you've rolled them the first time in the day, the second time you roll them and all subsequent times, there is a chance, you're not sure exactly how, but there is a chance that they tell you a random answer instead, so they're not 100% to be believed after that point. So, did you already ask the dice anything today? You did. You asked the dice earlier in the day, as soon as you arrived back from this material plane. You asked the dice something about Shadridge, or about whether your friend Mosh was safe or something, and you got an answer of wheel, but only just. But you did ask the question. You did ask a question of the dice today. It may have been not the first dice. It may not have been the first question you've asked of the dice today, because you don't remember your morning. You don't remember how long you've been awake. You don't know if the dice count as the same day if you're on this in a different plane of existence. Things get a little confusing and a little tricky. So the answer you got from the dice when you asked the Mosh question, was potentially already giving you a random answer. So what do you guys want to do? You can ask the dice question anyway, and just hope that it's not a randomized answer. Save the dice for tomorrow when we know it's going to be telling the truth. Fair enough. Ask Seed if there's an empty book we could use as a journal and perhaps some writing materials. Sure thing. You ask Seed, is there have you got empty books? Empty books? Empty books, yeah, like a book without writing in it. Oh yes, Seed have book without writing, and he runs off and comes back with about 3 books, all of which are picture books, and not empty. Oh no, sorry, I put books without pictures, without writing, just paper, just pages, empty blank pages. Oh, I think he probably will. Actually, he might not, for reasons. But let me give it a chance. Percentage chance. He does not. He says, no. Seed have book with small writing in, and comes back with a couple of books that have like a little bit wider spaced writing, and books that have a few blank pages here and there, but not books that are entirely blank. A few people want to look at the stars to check the hemisphere. Very clever of them. Yes, I will roll a survival check then. Apis has only ever been in one hemisphere of the world, hasn't travelled outside of your own country, so you're not super familiar with how the stars look in other places, but if you look up and the stars look like the same stars, then at least you've got some information there. So let me open up your dice camera. Dice camera action. All right, let me get some space to roll. Let me grab all of your dice out. Let me grab one of your, oopsie daisy, one of your d20s and give you a survival check. A 2. You do not get forest bonus for that, because you're looking at the stars, not the forest. However, your survival's still pretty good. You have a +2 from wisdom, you have a +3 from your survival being proficient in it, so you've got a +5 there. So 2 becomes a 7. Do you want to use your inspiration or lucky horseshoe to re-roll that? It is the last thing in the night, so you will be getting lucky horseshoe back. It refreshes in the morning, so you could use your your lucky horseshoe if you want to reroll. Apis is pretty plain at jet lagged, yeah. Portal lagged. Might as well then, yep, alright. Alright, most people saying yes, we're going to use your lucky horseshoe, which is an item you have in your inventory that can give you 1 reroll per day, which is an effect that I gave you to try and accommodate for the fact that you are a single character in a story and can easily TPK if you don't have things in your favour like lucky horseshoe and whatnot. So it's a little bit of a save me gimme item that I gave you at the very beginning of the game. Here we go. 13, much better. 13 plus 5 is an 18. With an 18, you can tell that the stars in the sky look almost identical to how you imagine them, how you imagine they should look. They look pretty much the same as they would back home. There's very little with an 18, there's very little that you can tell different about them at all. So, Apis can gather from that what you will. What do you want to do now? You are late in the day and you are very exhausted. You can keep doing things, you can go and find Julius the unicorn and ask him questions if you want, but you are, I'm going to say you've got a level of exhaustion, and if you keep going you'll get another. There's not a lot, you have had a very long day and a very arduous day. Your brain has been muddled and saved, and you've gone through a lot of things. You've been told a lot of stuff. Pray and then sleep. Alright, so you head down to your room then. More stars and then sleep. You look at the stars, you stargaze for a few minutes, and you find yourself dozing off out here in the open of the village. So eventually you sort of get up and head, thank Seed for his part in the feast. You head to the room that Seed laid out for you and told you could stay in. And you start to get ready for bed. Who are you praying to? Just a general prayer to the pantheon of the gods? Are you praying to the god of luck? Are you praying to the god of the hunt? Are you praying to anyone in particular? The note from the Merry Gentleman did mention the god of luck. Gladlix Philander. Read Seed a bedtime story. I think you're too tired for that. Besides, Seed doesn't really have a bedtime, given that he doesn't really sleep in the same way that others do. Can we tell the month from the stars? With an 18, you can tell that it is winter. And that's about it. God of luck, god of luck, god of luck. Alright. God of luck. We will. I'll roll you a religion check to see whether you know enough about the rituals of the god of luck. That's a 10, just right down the middle, average. 10 plus your religion of 3 from your intelligence comes to a 13. With a 13, you know that the god of luck is one of the greater gods in the, I think, Trickery or Tempest pantheon. I can't remember which one I put her in. Her name's Gladlix Philander, and her symbol is a four-leaf clover, or the sign of fingers crossed. She usually is worshipped in casinos or with gods of games of chance. So, do you have any? You don't have any cards on you, do you? You got bone dice. You could play a dice game if you want. You would know that in order to pray to her effectively, you usually pray to her while playing a game of chance of some kind. So you could play with the dice. You could just do without. You can always just pray just with words. You could flip a coin. Flip a coin. Yeah, you've got coins. Yeah, flip some coins then. All right. So you get some coins out, and you just kind of absent-mindedly flip them in your hand and tap them onto your back of your hand as you're saying, giving thanks to the goddess of luck. Bet Seed on a coin that the coin will be heads. Yeah, why not? Let's actually roll it. We'll go with you bet Seed as you go to bed. You bet one of the. In fact, let's say you because Seed's kind of doing his thing, and you've already said good night. So you're heading ready for bed, and you see that sitting on the window ledge is a little sprite, kind of just like leaning against the window ledge, watching you out of curiosity more than anything. And you take out a coin, one of the silver coins, and you say, I bet you 1 silver coin that this will come up heads. And the fairy kind of cocks his head and says, "It's Papa, Yippa," and kind of nods. And then you flip it, and if it's below, if it's 10 or below, it's tails, and if it's 11 or higher, it's heads. It's 11 or higher. There you go. So it is heads. You are correct, and the fairy, and then flitters off of the ledge. And by the time you've got your bedroll out and you've gotten your clothing sorted, you hear him flitter back, and he gives you another silver piece. There you go. As you were getting ready for bed and betting and thinking about that, you were also giving thanks to the god of luck and like appreciating her as best you could. But then again, it is only a 13 on the religion check, so it's not like you did phenomenally well, as it were. Where did it get that coin from? From Cake Ladder. Seed has been collecting some shinies for a while, and they know where he's storing them. So they went off to get one of his. They had money the whole time? Yeah, and they can speak common the whole time too. So you go to sleep. You get in bed and begin your long rest. As you are resting, about 30 minutes into the as you're resting, that you're about 30 minutes in when you feel this kind of you're woken by this feeling of something pouring over your body, almost liquid like. It seems to be it seems to be disrupting your sleep. You feel it kind of like a tickle at first, but then it feels like something is moving over your body fluidly. And you look down and kind of move with a start as you see the plant material that was on your body, this living plant suit that seemed to be adorning you since you arrived in this village, is flowing off of you now. It flows off of you, out of the bed and onto the ground beside you. And then as soon as it hits the ground, this sort of fluid motion of this green plant-like material, it hits the floorboards, and immediately you start to hear the creaking and cracking of this the wood beneath the floorboards as the plant seems to root itself down into it. The plant sort of fluidly flows upwards to form this bush, this large, almost sapling of a tree kind of sized bush of plant beside you in the room that you were in. It flows off of you and forms, and you back away quickly from it, moving yourself to the other edge of the bed. After it has formed in the center of this room, it doesn't seem to move again. It just is rooted itself down in the floorboards of the room. Water the plant. Is it keeping watch? Maybe. Cautiously touch the tree. You walk over to it cautiously and you kind of poke it and prod it, and it moves just like a regular plant would, but it's now rooted into this tree, into the floorboards, as if it has been here for years. Tell me there were clothes under the plant suit. Yes, you were wearing your armor under the plant suit. Or rather, as you were getting ready for bed, you were probably trying to take off the studded leather armor, because I don't imagine it's very comfortable to sleep in studded leather. So you were probably trying to take off the studded leather, and every time you took off one element of the studded leather, the plant kind of reformed itself over your body again. And so you're wearing underclothes underneath the plant. You say hello. The tree doesn't respond. You pet the tree. Nothing responds. Get a new room. Look for berries on the tree. You look for berries. Nothing on this bush seems like it's sprouting berries. However, it does not look like a plant you've seen before. As somebody who is proficient in survival and has spent a lot of your life, most of your life, in the forest, hunting and eating rations and stuff, this plant is not one from this plane of existence. It seems this plant has a different quality to it. It seems almost brighter than the rest of the materials of the room, even in the darkness of the night. It seems like this plant is colourful and sort of a highly saturated colour. It also seems like it is gently swaying in a breeze, as if there was a breeze in this room, which there is not. Get our book out. You get out your book on plants that you have in your inventory. One of these 3 books that you can see is a book on plants. You flick through it. I'll roll an investigation check really quickly to see if you can skim read and find anything that looks like it. 15, not bad. With a 15 plus 3 investigation, you flick through this book on plants and you are pretty confident with an 18 total that this plant is not in there. Will it get light here? The plant will get some light during the daytime, like it is near a window on an upstairs floor of this room, but it is obviously middle of the night here, so it's not going to get any light right now. Go to bed. Epis is tired. Tell Seed about it in the morning. Look in the book of herbs now. So you stick the plant book away. You look in the book of herbs to where you've written a bunch of stuff in the margins of this book while you were on the plane of existence. It's not there either. You don't see anything about this plant. This part of Apis just wants to roll over, go to sleep. Water it, cure wounds it. You don't have water, but give us a so some people wanted to just go to sleep. Some of them wanted to investigate further. Give thumbs up if you want to. If you want to stay up and investigate the plant in some way, water it, interact with it, go ask Seed about it, anything like that. Thumbs down if you just want to go to sleep, deal with it in the morning. Ooh, interesting. Not a clear consensus here. I'm gonna have to put this one to a proper poll so that I can get the numbers. It's sometimes we get a clear consensus with the yes and no's, but not this time. Does the plant have any apparent defenses? It's not a thorny plant, no. It's not thorny, and it doesn't have like poison dripping from it or anything. It has been on us for like how long, and it hasn't strangled us yet. Correct, it hasn't yet. But it also hasn't flown off you and taken root into the floorboards yet. So that's new. Previously established behavior is no guarantee for the future. It's acting weird, so we should deal with it. Okay, well, we got 67% of you saying otherwise. 67% of Apis decides, no, we're going to go to sleep. I can't deal with this right now. I'm just going to trust that the plant just needed to rest or something, or maybe like something wore off, or I don't. We'll ask Seed about it in the morning. You roll over and you go back to sleep, ignoring this plant for now. While you're sleeping, I'm going to get you to roll a wisdom saving throw. That's a 7. A 7 wisdom saving throw is a 9. You don't know what this wisdom saving throw is for, but without knowing whether or not a 9 is a success or a failure, and without knowing what it is that I'm asking for a wisdom saving throw for, would you like to use your inspiration? Alright. It seems the consensus is yes, inspiration. So, we're going to re-roll that, and I'm going to re-roll again until it gets into the actual tray. Nat 20. It's a little bit off to the side there, you can see. Nat 20. Much better than a 7. With a nat 20, you have interesting dreams that you remember the next morning that you may not have remembered if you hadn't rolled so well. The dreams that you have are you on a very bright, colourful, almost fairground-like plane of existence, with music around and lights and sounds and dancing, and you can clearly remember elements of your time in the Feywild. Just snippets for now. You remember that bronze statue of a man that I mentioned attacking you. Now you remember that he was only a man down to the waist, and his legs resembled that of fur? Was it horse legs or a satyr legs? You're only remembering flashes of it, but he was clearly training you, not attacking you. You then get flashes that you remember of a large, opulent, if that's the right word, sort of marble-looking interior to a palace. And there were a few other creatures around, servants. You can't place them, you can't remember what exactly they look like, but you remember their presence being there. You have a memory of sitting at a very long wooden table, a banquet table, and sitting beside a gentleman in a green suit, with his top hat resting jauntily on a hat stand beside the table. A hat stand seemingly made out of a creeping vine that had been summoned out of the floor. You also get the impression of the same gentleman, now with his hat readorned, outside in a forest situation, lending his hand out towards a plant that looks an awful lot like the plant in your room. And then, with a sweeping motion, affecting the fluidity of that plant, turning it almost into a viscous liquid, and smoothing it from where it stood onto your person, where it wrapped itself around you. And that's all you remember for the night. Just elements of your time in the Feywild start to come back. The plane of dreams is a powerful one for affecting memories, and sometimes they can interact with memory blocker magic in certain ways. Do you remember any feelings? I mean, I'm not Apis, so it's up to you guys to think how you would feel about those things. As it is a dream, you feel yourself in those places again, but you are in those places anew. You are not necessarily just reliving a same memory, you are recreating that memory in the dream world. And in the morning, you have a long rest, and we get to press this long rest button. Bing! And it comes back with a horseshoe and everything. Was the plant consumed by the action? Did it remain in place in developers? It didn't. It was hard to tell because it was only snippets of a dream. So in the morning, you have had a long rest in Drenvale. What do you want to do? When we wake up, we try and do the same wave movement that the Merry Gentleman did to try and get the armour back on. You look across to the plant, which is still rooted in your room. As you swing your legs out of bed, you stand up and walk over to the plant that is rooted right beside the bed. And you kind of do this sweeping sort of motion towards the plant, and nothing happens. You sort of brush the plant and touch the plant and then try and sweep it onto your body. Try the other hand. Nothing's even remotely feeling like it's working. Does it get sunlight now that it's a morning? It does seem like it's getting, let's see, east. Yes, yeah, it's getting a little bit of sunlight. It doesn't seem like it's getting much. It seems like there's only a couple of rays in the morning, but as you are in fact, you're in one of the northern buildings. So from the room that you're in, it will only get a couple of slivers of rays of sunlight in the morning and evening. In fact, it won't get any in the evening because of the stone wall. So yeah, the room is not a good place for this this plant, it seems, in terms of photosynthesizing. Get some stretches done. Oh, you get some stretches done. You put on your studded leather armor. You say, "Stay here." Here, plant. Here, plant. Puss, plant. Nothing's happening. You leave the room and go and find Julius. It doesn't take very long. Eventually, you find him sort of trotting around inside the village, talking with some of the denizens, some of the fairies that live here. And you say, Julius, the plant thing that was on me, it came off in the night, and it sort of like took root in the room that I was in. Do you know? And Julius says, "Ah, yes. It's a druidic magic. It is known as verdant armor. One can touch plants. You may see that Seed has a similar thing. He doesn't point. He doesn't have fingers. Retract that. Points with his hoof. You may see that Seed has similar things." And he points over to Seed, who is currently feeding the blink dogs over by the stables. And you can see that Seed has this green armor over himself as well. The same sort of plant material. It's a druidic magic called verdant armor. You touch a living plant, and as long as it's large enough, an essence of it is wrapped around your person and goes some way to protect you. But when the magic runs out, the plant propagates and takes root, adapting itself to whatever surroundings it's in. I believe the merry gentleman perhaps sent you with an essence of this armor on. His horn pointing considered vulgar. Yeah, pointing with his horn, maybe. I'm not sure. I haven't fleshed out unicorn cultures yet. Julius, you seem like a knowledgeable sort. I've got a question. Do you know of a way to regain memories lost in the Feywilds? Or perhaps a way to resist losing them in the first place? Julius sighs and says, I do. There are magics that remove curses, often will also remove the blockers of certain memories. Magics that manipulate memories can affect those lost. Those are the best ways to do so. I can certainly assist with the blockages of certain memories if they are the curse-like qualities. Those lost by the mere nature of the plane of existence, it's difficult for me to manipulate. It's unlikely that I would be successful. Memories lost by the actions of another, those lost by the deeds of, say, a hag, those are the sorts of memories that I might be a little more useful at regaining. Simply losing memories because of your journey to the Feywilds is a very common thing, and it is more of a product of your physiology than a curse. So for that you may need magic that specifies in the manipulation or sharing of memories. Will having another plant from another plane be harmful here? I'm kind of concerned that my plant may overpopulate here. As I will certainly be keeping an eye on it, and Seed specialises in understanding propagation of plants and protection of plant materials. If it seems to take hold like a weed, then Seed will deal with that. But if the merry gentleman sent you with it on, he would have accounted for that. He needs this. He needs the protection of this village, and as such, he's not going to endanger that with a frivolous decision to send a plant with you. If anything, he probably sent you with it because he wanted the plant here. Seed overhears and comes over. Seed know where memory sharing happen. Sorry? Seed know where memory sharing happen with mushroom people. Ah yes, I mean that's worth a try, I suppose. You could potentially speak to the Myconids, and they may have ways of manipulating your mind in that way. There's not much room in that room for not much light in the room for that plant. Should we move it? Seed, can you help me move a plant? Yes, Seed, move plant. All right. Well, let's move that plant somewhere that it's actually going to get light, in case it is something that the merry gentleman wanted in this village. We should try our best to keep it alive, I suppose. You mentioned mushroom people. Where can I find them? Seed says, mushroom people far away. Mushroom people. Seed can fly is there. Seed can fly to mushroom people. Seed need to go mushroom people soon for potions. But Seed work on Sentinel today. Can Seed make plant armor again? He can, but he has done so for the day. Let me just double check something. It is a spell that I created. Well, spell that me and James created. So let me just double check. I think the Merry Gentleman has no problem doing it to other people because he's super powerful, but I think regular folk like Seed can only do it to themselves. Range. Oh no, you trace runes on a willing creature, so Seed could cast it on you. Yeah. Are the mushroom people by a sentinel too? No, mushroom people far from this forest. Mushroom people in cave under another forest. Mushroom people where Seed get pointy. So you can do the plant thing on me. Yes, Seed can do plant thing on you. It costs him a spell slot, and depending on what level spell slot he uses, the duration lasts for certain different respective times. Are the mushroom people dangerous? No, not dangerous. Not danger to mushroom people not danger to you, he says. Mushroom trade with Seed for potion. Mushroom teach Seed how to make potions. And then he points over to his herb garden that he's been propagating. Alright, well let's get that plant moved and then look at these sentinels then, and I suppose we'll talk to the mushroom people after that. Can I ask also, why did the sentinel steam help to settle my mind? Does it help with memories as well? And Julius says, alas, no. The sentinels serve very specific purposes. I was not around, especially not in my current form, the time that the sentinels were created, so I don't know a great deal about them. What I do know is, a long time ago, long before Seed lived in this village, long before any of these creatures lived in this village, a great many years ago, there were elves that protected this tree, that lived in this village. Their job was to keep it safe and to keep people away from it. The sentinels helped with that. Each has a different purpose, each serves a different goal. The steam sentinel serves the goal of making people's memories and directions muddied when they are within range of the village. It helps to make people... it makes it harder for people to find the village in the first place. Easier to protect a thing that people don't know exists. The Steam Sentinel, for that reason, makes it very easy to very easy to keep people away from the forest. The Water Sentinels, Earth Sentinel, Fire and Air Sentinels, they help to, as far as I understand, balance the planes, balance the energies that come from the respective elemental planes, to keep them from overlapping too much, to keep them more organized, push them towards the realm of law and away from the realm of chaos. I don't fully understand them myself, and all I know is that until we get them sorted, those elemental planar magics can be a little more volatile. What do we need to do to repair them? It depends on how they were broken. The Water Sentinel was simply blocked by a large boulder, and Seed managed to repair that relatively quickly. The Earth Sentinel is the one that we're working on at the moment and is taking much greater time. The earth seems to have been salted and the ground poisoned and corrupted. We are having to dig out small amounts of dirt, a small bit at a time, and replace them. I am doing my best to purify the land as we go. It is difficult because we cannot afford to change the shape of the Sentinel in too much of a great way. You'll see. We should make a move so that we can get some work done today. Seed can teach spell. Seed not good at teach. Seed can train like Pointy, but not train Pointy to spell. Julius says yes. No, there are certain things that are beyond understanding of certain druidic magics. Seed has a natural inclination for the magics, it seems. Your current form, you say? I'm sorry if this is rude to ask. I've not met someone of your kind, but were you not born a unicorn? Born is an interesting concept that has... It betrays your understanding of the world through the material plane lens. I am from the upper planes of existence, the outer planes. Some know them as the afterlife planes, but that would be a misnomer. They are the before life planes, they are the afterlife, they are the during life. They are simply the outer, the upper. I am a spirit of sorts, and I take the form of a unicorn. Seed get help from badgers. Badgers do dig. Seed make soil go faster. All right. Well, let's move this plant first then, and then we'll go and work on that sentinel, I suppose. I'm sorry. I can't help but worry about where I'm from. The town that I was from was undergoing some things, and if I'm still a little bit discombobulated, to be suddenly thrust into another person's village and have jobs that I have to do when I don't know, where I was and what's happening there. No, I understand, and I wish I could help with that. Unfortunately, I know very little of where you were from. How powerful are unicorns? Depending on the unicorn. Pretty powerful. Tell Julius about the corrupted river and the land around the graveyard. Speaking of corrupted land, then, I don't know if it's related or not, but you exposition to him the fact that you did come across a graveyard, and you, with detect portal, you found this portal to another plane of existence. It is those sorts of portals that the Sentinels are created to control. They are created to balance and order the existence of portals to other planes of existence. Right. There was I did end up in the plane of air recently. There was a portal that one of the druids later told me shouldn't have existed in that location. It seems that that's common throughout this forest. There are portals into the elemental planes that appear, and they are unstable. They may be around long enough to have. They may be around long enough to have creatures that are from those planes come through, but most often they are gone within the blink of an eye, and then reappear somewhere else. Unfortunately, the portals are unstable at the moment until we can get these sentinels fixed. I think perhaps if there was indeed this portal that you've mentioned, this corrupting essence around where you're from, perhaps this is why the merry gentleman, as you know him, is deemed fit for you to come and help us fixing the sentinels. The quicker we can get these sentinels fixed, the more likely we are to be able to handle whatever your portal is. To me, working on fixing the Sentinel will help us to understand what's going on with them so that we can make more decisions about our involvement with them. I figure we could talk a bit while we work on today's activities. Yes, we can. Let's get started with that plant, whether to put it on or to replant it, and then to get work on fixing the Sentinels. Alright. You walk into the room that you slept in, and you show the plant to Seed. Julius is outside because it's hard for him to climb stairs. Seed looks at the plant, and does Seed recognize it? Unlikely, but I will give him a chance. No. Seed doesn't recognize it, but he says, "This plant not from here. This plant from Merry Gentleman Place." And you say, "Yes, I think so. Yes, I think it's a fair plant. Yes, fair plant. This plant." Do you know what it does? No, Seed not know this plant, but Seed immediately starts to investigate it a little closer. Plant have way of moving on plant's self. I don't entirely understand why the Merry Gentleman sent me here to help. If the poisoned earth is the problem, a druid could have been more helpful, or a farmer even. There must be specific reasons I'm here. I'm thinking that the portals seem likely. Can you help me to understand that? And Seed and Julius outside shouting up at the window. Julius has telepathy, so he can keep in contact with you while you're inside. Julius says, I would be lying if I said that we are able to understand all of the machinations of Kurapira. He will have his reasons for choosing you. I believe it will have a great part to do with your abilities as a Horizon Walker. I think we will find out in time what it is that he expects of you. Prestidigitation cleans 1 cubic foot of soil at a time. I guess it's slow going. Yep. How long do you think these Sentinels will take? How many are there? Alas, it is not my place to answer that yet. You know of... Seed has been told of the elemental planes. The elemental Sentinels. It's a fun word to say. Elemental Sentinel. The elemental Sentinels, and there are others, but they are less pressing. Easy to just put hole for rain and sun. Job done. Yeah, Seed looks up at the roof of this building and says, "Yeah, job easy to make plant, easy to get rain." And Seed, you can see, stands up on the bed, reaches up towards the wooden slats in the ceiling, and he seems to do these kind of molding and moving kind of motions with his hands. And as he's molding and moving the wood of the ceiling tiles, you can see that it seems to be like smoothing it across. It's like the wood seems to be made of clay, and he starts to push and move and mold, and then he pushes it with his fingers until there's like a divot in it. He reaches down to his belt and he pulls out some wood carving tools, and he just starts to go, and he's pushing into the wood of the roof as if it's made of clay. And then he starts to pull apart, and he's just tearing off chunks of this wood as if it's like a thick pottery clay. And he just kind of throws it out the window, and eventually, before long, there's this hole in the roof pretty much right above where the plant is, and it's helping get some of the sun in. Obviously, from this angle, it's not going to get too much sun from directly above, but when it rains, it will get watered, and when the sun goes up to the midday, it'll definitely get more sun during the day as well. Seed takes like 5 minutes to do this, and then goes, that works. Can we touch the base as if we're going to uproot it and see if it reacts? Yeah, you do so. You reach down to grab the plant as if you're going to uproot it, and you see that some of the sort of waving vines, sort of the drooping sort of, it's got a sort of appearance of one of those wilting bluebell kind of flowers, one of those sorts of things. And as it's wilting and sort of drooping like this, not wilting, that's the wrong word I suppose, but as it's got this droopy kind of nature, you go down as if you're going to grab it, and just slowly and gently one of the vines goes down to your arm and starts to like wrap it around. It doesn't like immediately whip out and grab you, but it does seem to have response as you sort of grab it by the base. It seems to wrap around your wrist. Is the plant useful for the Sentinel? It might be. Can the plant be useful for the Earth Sentinel? I mean, don't ask me out of character. I'm not going to tell you out of character, am I? Seed. Do Fey plants need the same as Rin plants? Just water and sun? Or do they need anything else? Seed wouldn't be super familiar with Fey plants because he has been to the Feywild and he would remember some of his time there, but he hasn't been a great deal of times and he hasn't spent a lot of time on the Feywild. Let me roll a nature check for Seed. Nat 1. Nat 1. Plus 2 from his nature. So that's a 3. He wouldn't know. He says, plant just needs sun and water. And you say, yeah, but the Feywild plants need anything more than sun and water. Sun and water and good soil. Okay. But they only need the same things that other plants need. No, some plant need big space. Some plant need small space, and some plant like lots of shade. Some plant need sun. Yeah, but it doesn't need anything like that's not a real, and you realise that it's futile to try and get across what I'm trying to explain. Julius, if there's an abyssal sentinel, there's a portal that seems to be spurning out demons, and I need that closed as soon as possible. Julius says, there is not. The abyss is one of the outer planes, the lower planes. The Sentinels refer mostly to those of the inner. So there's nothing I can do to help give my friends the chance of surviving this abyssal incursion. Again, I don't know of the details of your circumstances, Apis, but if the Merry Gentleman has been informed of your predicament and has chosen to send you here, it must be because he thinks that this will help. I would say it is difficult to trust in the Archfey, of course, especially when your memories of your conversations have been removed. But I would say to trust in his process. He has never led me or Seed astray. His primary goal is the protection of this village, and by extension, the protection of the plane of existence on which we find ourselves. It is in his best interest to guard this village and that tree. He kind of gestures over to the tree. Will this plant help the Earth Sentinel in any way? I have no way of knowing. There is, I suppose, one way to find out. Is it possible to get more people to help? No. But maybe there's a portal leading to other villages? No. I might know people that know. This village is to be kept secret and kept safe. The more people that know, the more people that find out. The more people that know of its existence, the greater threat we face. The Merry Gentleman has clearly trusted you well enough to bring you to his village. This is, in a lot of ways, the Merry Gentleman's hometown, and for him to bring you here, it says a great deal about his trust in you. We fix dirt now? Seed says impatiently. Merry Gentleman is good man. He is good trusting. Right. Well then, let's get fixing that sentinel, I suppose. Would you, as Apis, would you ask for the verdant armour to be placed on yourself again, or not? That reminds me, I should ask TomTom for the location of the second closest portal to the Shadowfell. TomTom. And TomTom comes out onto your palm. For those who don't know, TomTom is the name of the little blackish blue scarab beetle looking thing that is an extension of your detect portal powers. TomTom, where is the location to the second closest Shadowfell portal? Second closest portal to the Shadowfell. Doesn't seem to respond. Thomas in formal settings. It doesn't seem to respond for whatever reason. It either doesn't know, it doesn't understand the question, it doesn't feel a Shadowfell portal in range. Whatever reason, it doesn't answer. Damn it, TomTom, that would have been too easy, wouldn't it? We close our eyes and focus when we ask TomTom the question to see if we can sense the same thing, trying after Julius told us TomTom is an extension of our powers. Okay, you ask it again. TomTom, where is the second closest portal to the Shadowfell? And you close your eyes and focus your powers, focus your feeling on the detect portal abilities. You don't feel anything, and TomTom doesn't respond. Alright, let's put it to a poll actually, because I want to know specifically whether or not it's yes or no. Ask Seed to cast Verdant Armor. Yes or no? So Verdant Armor will take this plant that we've just planted down in the room with us, this Feywild looking beautiful colourful plant, and it will wrap it around ourselves once again as armour. We already have studded leather armour on, so it won't change our armour class, but it will adapt to us. It will adapt to our movements and our shape, and if we get injured it will re-heal itself and all that sort of stuff. It only works if you are not wearing armour already. So you could actually take off your studded leather and get an increase to your armour class by 1 with the verdant armour. You have +3 dexterity, so it would give you 13 plus your dexterity modifier. TomTom, do you feel resistance to finding the second nearest portal to the Shadowfell? Walks around in your palm a little bit, just moseys about, meanders. Alright, looks like we're not going to be taking verdant armour with us, with 78% currently saying no. Guys, there isn't another shadow portal here. Can we try close our eyes thing again, but with the question that we know TomTom will answer, like one of the ones that points to the tree? We could try that if you want, yeah. 78% of you want to not bother asking Seed to cast verdant armour on you. You already have the armour class of your studded leather, and you think, if the Mage Armor wants this plant here, then so be it. We'll leave the plant here. The bug doesn't seem to do complex questions. It does not seem to do complex questions. It is an item and an extension of your abilities. There are limitations to what it can answer. Can we play with TomTom after the light is gone for the day? Let's work while it's there. Yes. Alright, so it is mid-morning by this point. Seed has been up for many hours and has been working hard on all the things that he does on a morning. He's cast his own verdant armour on, he's fed Pointy and cast Goodberry and started feeding some of the creatures of the forest. He's tended to his garden a little bit. He says, we go fix ground now? And Julius says, yes, I believe so. And they set off. You guys set off towards the area of the Sentinel, and as soon as you've left the village, you start to feel this crickling of magic again. You hadn't really felt it too much while you've been in the village. Seed get digging stick. Yes, Seed goes off and gets his digging stick, aka a shovel. And you and a couple of those. He's got trowel and spade and things. As soon as you've left the village, you feel this sense that you haven't really felt while you've been in the village. This sense of this residual magic, this static electricity that's in the air, this crackling and goosebump kind of feeling of force energy that's just a little bit abound in this forest. It seems like now that you know what the Sentinels are for, you realise that the lack of them seems to have led to some disturbance in the balances between the different planes, and there seems to be some crossover, and that's probably what you're feeling. As we walk towards the Sentinel, can we talk to Seed about plants and their properties, what they're good for and what not to use? You try to start that conversation, Spates, but you're not walking very far before Julius says, "This is far enough. This should be far enough." And he stops, and Seed stops beside him and immediately walks over and places his hand on Julius's body, on his mane. And he just kind of looks towards you, and you see you see that they're both kind of waiting. And then Julius says, "Oh, sorry, I almost forgot that you're new. Place your hand on my mane." Is Mel around? Yeah, Mel buzzes down behind you as well. There's a disturbance in the force, magic. You walk over and place your hand on his mane. Mel buzzes down and lands on his back. And then there is this very warm feeling, as if from the toes up you are being dipped into a sauna, dipped into a spa pool rather. This almost hot water, not unbearably hot, just this really warm, comforting kind of feeling rises up through your legs, and in a moment it passes over you as if you've not just been dipped in slowly, you've been kind of dunked, and whoosh, this feeling comes up from the legs and to your body, rising down from the sort of coming up and over your offhand and down towards the hand that is touching his mane. And then you see this bright white light in front of your eyes, this golden light, and then suddenly everything kind of feels a little bit jerky, a little bit like your stomach has kind of been upset, and then with a sudden slam, kind of a jerk, like when you go over a hill too fast or on a roller coaster and your stomach's kind of left behind, you touch down. And your hand kind of slips from Julius's back, and you find yourself in a different part of the forest. And Julius says, "This will save us some time getting here. The Earth Sentinel is ahead," and he starts to trot over that direction. What sort of teleportation was that? Unicorn teleportation, it seems. And Mel, what was that, Apis? It did not feel. I don't know what that was. What was I? Oh, that felt. I'm not sure. You're like it was. We teleported, Mel. We're going through a lot of portals lately. Can we just fly places? It is much more better. I think we saved a lot of time by walking, and you follow the unicorn as you're walking. And it was not we. I like to fly when we move for a place, and you're like, yeah, I'm used to walking as well, but I think this saved us a lot of time, and we might be in a completely different area of the forest now. Okay. And she lands down on your little perch on the back of your backpack and avoids throwing up nectar all down your neck. You could come travel with me all the time. How far was that, Julius? Just over 1.5 miles. I see. Why did we have to walk away from the empty village before that? Teleportation magic is prohibited in the village. It is abjured against by ancient magics. It is another protection against people getting into the village that aren't meant to be there. Having said that, since the recent attack by the Shadow Man, a lot of the abjurations were damaged. It's something that we're working on fixing as well. Is there anything I should know about the surrounding of the Sentinel, Julius? Like anything dangerous? Are we expecting any danger? You can bring up you can cast Pass Without a Trace if you guys want, but Julius doesn't seem to be moving with the expectation of danger. So you'd have much work to do. Are we at risk of meeting this Shadow Man here? I highly doubt it. He doesn't seem to have returned in quite some time. He made a deal of sorts with a gentleman that was here recently, another guardian, another of the Merry Gentleman's champions, I believe. He made a deal with him that he would stop attacking our tree if they could try and find him another way back to the Shadowfell. So I think they've bought us some time, but I don't expect they will find another way to the Shadowfell. Team Goo, Cake Ladder says excitedly. Yes, Team Goo apparently is their name. He made some sort of a deal, and I don't expect he will be back anytime soon. If you can give us a direction, Mel's not a fan of that form of travel, so and she flies pretty quickly, so she could always catch us up. Of course, I'm happy to oblige the creatures of the forest. You do get used to the teleportation in time. This part of Apis has anxiety after getting captured by Lucifreak. I mean, you guys can pass without trace if you want. Did you say champions? Does he have many of those? I'm unfamiliar with his practices, but yes, he has champions. It is an Archfey practice to have champions. People that work for you, I suppose champion may be a different word, I'm not sure. Yeah, the real name of Team Goo is much too complicated for Seed, so he calls him Team Goo. Alright, most people say no, don't bother with Pass Without a Trace. Save the slots for now. Seed and Julius don't seem too concerned with anything around here, and they know this forest better than we do, so save the slots. Yeah. Did this Team Goo, did they go evil? Are they working with the Merry Gentleman? No, Team Goo not evil, Seed says. Seed part of Team Goo. Oh, okay. Who is this? And you kind of look to Julius to try and help out. He says, I don't really know. All I know is they were chosen by the Merry Gentleman to perform certain tasks. I believe they're an adventuring party. They've been trusted with the location of this village and trusted with this team, and they saved my life once. Right. Working for. I was hoping it was with. I mean, semantics, I suppose, when it comes to Archfey. So, how can I help? By this point, you are walking. As you're walking, I'll have you actually make a. Is it insight, perception, arcana? I feel like it's an arcana check, but it's wisdom based. It's a wisdom based arcana check. You're not proficient in it, so it's just a +2. 14 plus 2, 16. With a 16, you can feel this same crackling of energy. Ever since you touched down, there was kind of a residual teleportation magic energy that was within you. And it didn't go away. It seems like it's still there, and it's heightening. And you realise, oh, perhaps that wasn't an energy that came from the teleportation with Julius, so much as from whatever part of the forest you're in now. It feels like there is, even thinner than when you were around the village before, it feels like the transition between the portals is thin here. How do we cleanse this earth? Well, you ask this just as Julius says, well, let's show you it first. He walks just another few feet until he sort of crests up to the top of like a bit of a mound, and then he looks out over this clearing in this wood. There's still trees around, but it's a lot sparser. And with it being sparser, you can see, as you stand up next to him, you can see this huge mound of dirt. It's sort of like, it's not big enough to be like a natural hill, but it definitely forms the shape of a long hill. It is 50 feet long and 12 feet wide. It's about 8 feet high from the surrounding ground around it, which is remarkably flat. And it is solid dirt. It's covered in grass, but the grass is sort of sparse and patchy. You can tell the signs of the salted and poisoned earth that you've heard about. You can see that it takes the shape of a supine elven man with his arms crossed over his chest. This huge, long, dirt statue almost, standing, lying down in the form of an elven man. He says, "Welcome to the Earth Sentinel." You can also tell that from about halfway up his body, from his feet to about his hips or so, has been recently churned up dirt. You can tell signs of new grass, some grass seed that has been placed there. And you can see around this dirt about a dozen or so badgers and moles that are working around the clock, it seems, to dig out sections of the earth and replace it with fresh dirt. They've formed like a, I feel like there's a word for this, but I can't remember. Like when there's a bucket chain to put out a fire, they've formed like one of those. But you can see that there is a badger sort of moving in with a rope in its mouth, and the rope is tied to the handle of a bucket, and it's pulling this bucket along, and the bucket is filled with dirt, and it's moving, and then it's sort of like as it gets to a point near this fresh mound of dirt off to the side of this hill, the bucket's sort of on its side, and the dirt's spilling out a little, and then a mole comes up from beneath and tips the back end of the bucket. This brigade, this conveyor, yes. Chain gang, except for the connotations there, meaning like prisoners. They don't seem to be chained up. You do recognise that these badgers and moles were part of Seed's woodland demagogue last night, and this is the job that they've been tasked with. Seed points at the badgers and the moles, having to try their best to like tip out dirt from buckets and like try their best to make it work without thumbs. And he says, Seed need more thumbs. More thumbs be good for work. and you realize, oh yeah, this is what he's meaning. Like it's hard to get animals to do that much in the way of work for you, because there's only so much they're capable of with their physiology. Some of the badgers are digging out the soil of the Earth Sentinel, and others are taking that fresh soil and putting it in its place, and they're a small bit at a time trying to replace the dirt of this mound, this hill. They've had magic used on them. Yes, indeed they have. You let out a little bit of a yelp when you see the badgers and the moles. You say, I'm sorry, I had a bad experience with badgers and moles recently with a dragon. I had a bad experience with a green dragon in a forest, and Luciferic says, is that right? Was it the dragon that died recently in the last few years? See, it died. I mean, I don't know how long exactly I was in the Feywild, but I killed this dragon recently. Yes. I think perhaps it was a different dragon. Which did you happen to know the name of this dragon? Say Luciferic. He says yes. It wasn't the dragon I'm thinking of. There was a dragon not too far from this forest, a few miles south directions. Never eat shredded wheat. A few miles southeast of here. Right. Well, I don't know about that one, but I encountered some badgers and some moles and things that were part green dragon, so it's a little... Anyway. Is there a plant that would remove the salt from the land? Potentially. Maybe some like magic plants or something. Do you know of any plants that would help to remove the salt from the land? Not plants native to this plane of existence. Unfortunately, the nature of the salt is so that things wouldn't grow on it. Part of the Earth Sentinel is that once we've fixed it, we must grow native plants on top of it. Plants plants endorsed by Flonenshale and Yolash tea. How about the name Ungeheft? Does that ring any bells? No, I'm afraid not. Okay. If we could try and find out what type of salt's been used... Just scrolled past that. If we could try and find out what type of salt's been used, we could try and counteract it. Use our brain more than our thumbs. That could certainly help. Wetting the land down, maybe washing the salt from the earth, maybe. Keeping Mel up high to see if anything is approaching might be prudent. Yeah, maybe. So you send off Mel. Hey Mel, can you do your thing, just making sure, keeping a lookout really, staying up high. Let us know if anything seems odd. Yes, the badgers should not be moving like that. That's pretty odd. Yeah, I mean, like, not that. But, like, dangerous. If things seem dangerous. Oh, okay. I will keep an eye out. She takes off to the skies. Have we asked what day, year, month it is? No, we haven't. We can do so. Julius, do you happen to know what day it is or what month? And he says, let's see, what do you know? Let's see. He's pretty smart. Let me look up a unicorn stats. Would he know? Would he track that? I don't think they would have a great deal of use for keeping track of dates, but he might know the month at the least. Intelligence 11, not a great deal of intelligence, and it's not really a wisdom thing because it doesn't have relation to... let me roll for it. Let's see if he does. No. He says, I'm afraid not. I know that it's coming up to winter. We're in the early days of winter at the moment, but I'm afraid I don't know the calendar that you currently use. I think trying to clear all this up by hand might take quite a while. It has taken a while already, yes. If there is magic you know to assist, then you are welcome to suggest it. Perhaps you can create something with the herbs you've grown seed, something to clear the salt and poison from the earth. Herb not grow here, no. Herb garden need good soil, not bad soil. Yeah, but maybe we can use the herbs that you've grown to make something that would help. Maybe mushroom people know poison remove from dirt. Maybe mushroom people help. Julius, do you know if the right thing to do with demons and blights is to burn them? I came across blight, and he says you know blights. You've come across them. Did you find them in this forest? He seems like he's suddenly like to attention with the mention of blights. Not here. Like before I went to the Feywild and got transported here against my will. I fought with some demons and blights and things, and I burned them. Do you know if that would help? And he says, burning definitely defeats blights. We have blight problems here in this forest as well. Not so much these days. Further afield and to the southeast, there are blights. Water can spread the salt away. Calcium is used for some salts. You could add types of fertilizers. Using knowledge that Apis wouldn't necessarily have here. Salt dissolves in water, it would seep deeper into the ground. Is that good though? Like if it seeps into the ground as in away from the hillock, like it would seep deeper and deeper into the ground and away from the topsoil where things are growing. Good work. Work hard. Can't just smash ground man and make new ground man. Have to keep ground man whole. Whole fix, well fix. And Seed sets off to start working. He gets down with the shovel and starts shoveling dirt and walking in, and the badgers and the moles and things are working around him, trying to help. Seems like Seed is someone who is not afraid of a hard graft, and he knows how long this job will take, but he knows it has to be done. And he's a very young elf, so he's got a long time ahead of him. Even if it takes like a year to fix this one sentinel, he's like, what's a year to me? I mean, he's already in his, like, I can't remember, 70s or something. He's a very young elf. Water would wash it out, but you need good drainage. Julius, could that fairy plant that I was sent with help remove the salt? It is possible. I'm unfamiliar with that particular plant and why the Merry Gentleman sent you with it, but if his intention was to fix this, it could be that it was here for a reason. Like it could be that he sent it for this particular reason. I love it, Della. Can we do Della's idea? I missed it. Where is it, Della? Could we use Mel's abilities to call a bunch of ants that pick up individual salt and move it out? Julius kind of cocks his head towards you. It is possible, I suppose, in theory. Worth a try. What abilities does she have exactly? Mel!
Yes, Apis, I don't see anything of danger around here.
I was wondering if you had if you could speak with insects, bugs, creatures that live in the soil. If you can speak with, I'm not sure what the limitations of your abilities are, but worms, beetles, anything that you can speak with that lives underground. If you can get them to help us carry away the soil and any dirt that's poisoned or corrupted or anything like that.
I can try to do that. Yes, I will. Should I do that now?
Yeah, if you could, that'd be great. She sort of does this like bee shake, tail wag kind of dance, and you see coming out of the ground this swarm as she uses her summon swarms ability to summon swarms of crawling and creeping and burrowing insects from the ground. She starts to commanding them in a bee language that you don't speak, I suppose. This inherent understanding of commanding the insects, and then they start to swarm towards them, and you see a bunch of the badgers kind of getting freaked out by this huge swarm of insects starting to move towards the mound of dirt. They set to work, trying their best to assist in any way. And then you turn to Seed and say, is there a way, maybe if we transport the plant that I came with to this hill, it could help. It's a magic plant from the Feywild. It might have been sent for the purposes of helping. Seed says, yes, maybe, but soil, bad soil, might kill plant. You said we need to plant on the Sentinel once it's fixed, so perhaps the Merry Gentleman chose that plant to assist somehow? It's worth a shot. Yes, maybe try. Maybe try. And Julius says, I can take us back to the village. It takes a little out of me to teleport in that way, so I can get us back quickly. But it would require me having a short rest before we can come back again at speed. Of course, we could always come back the usual way, but it would take longer to walk. We can just walk back. We'll just walk back and have a think on the way. We could also plant it on the good part, this part by its feet that's already been churned up. Yes, it probably would be a safer option. We leave the plant where it is for now, can move it later, but moving it will take time. Get to work on the issue at hand first. Yeah, but the thing is, Tree of Dave, the plant might be the thing that helps with the issue at hand. It's a risk to the plant. Maybe we should wait to move the plant here until we've cleaned more of it first. You've got most of the bottom half of it. Seed's been working on this particular Sentinel for a while now. Seed and all of the creatures of the forest. So even without creatures with thumbs, Seed has done a great job of displacing and replacing a bunch of the dirt of the lower legs of this creature, this Sentinel. Can you not rest here now and then go back and forth straight away? And Julius says, yes, I suppose we could do that. Making plant armor is easy way to move. Seed to touch plant and plant come on you, and then when spell end, plant come off you and sit where plant is. Right. Okay. We should do that then. Maybe if we purify an area of the center of the plant in preparation for planting. Julius says, yes, let's make a start on that. He trots over to the feet of this Sentinel and starts to climb it. He climbs up onto the top, and he is going to cast some holy magics that unicorns can do. He starts to sort of just slowly kind of trot in place, and it's like he's trying to knead the ground in front of him. And as he's kneading the ground, he's kind of swaying a little, and you can see that he's sort of swaying dust particles off of himself, like he's been covered in builder's dust, and he's kind of shaking it off. The dust is catching the light that's sort of streaming down from the morning light now. It's now approaching midday, and the light is streaming down and catching these golden particles that are coming off of him. And as they're landing on the ground, he's casting his holy magics, as he's been doing every day, well, not every day, every other day, trying to get this particular Sentinel all purified again. So he's doing an area by the feet, sort of around the shins of this Sentinel, to purify that, so that when you come back with the plant, you can displace it and it'll take root here, and hopefully it'll take hold. If it's a special tree, it might be better planted on the Sentinel's chest, closest to whatever heart it has. Yes, it's quite possible, but for that same reason, we decided to start with the extremities when we were replacing things. We didn't know exactly how to fix the problems that we had here, and so we wanted to start with those that would be easier to, less likely to cause major damage to the Sentinel if we did it wrong. With our experience that we've learned from the bottom half, I believe we can move into the top half. How many of the ants and animals and plants we already put in danger of contacting the soil and haven't been contaminated? This plant is from another plane. It might filter this sort of thing. Maybe. Are there any farms or farmers around? I could ask them how best way to do this. Julius says, no, the nearest settlements have long been abandoned, and they're south of the river. The nearest settlement is, in fact, the werewolves and the were-creatures that live south of the river. None of them are well, there are farmers there. There is a were-rhino that tends to most of their needs in terms of cultivating their food for them. If we're resting, Seed would wild chip into a better digging form, or is the guy with the shovel the best digging form? If you want to displace a lot of digging, a lot of soil quickly, then you've got better forms for this. But if you want to be a little more precise with what work you're doing, which you do, man with thumbs and shovel is the best form you can be in. A were rhino. Yeah, there's a were rhino in the nearby village. You'd like to take a sample of the poison and salt so that we can see how the plant reacts to it before we try this. Very good idea, Redal. Yes, you take out one of your empty vials. You have empty vials in your inventory somewhere. There they are, empty vials. And you, if I grab inventory real quick, empty vial number. I'm going to reduce that to a 4. You no longer have an empty vial, but you have a vial of. I don't have an image for it, obviously, but you guys can try and remember. You have a vial of the sample dirt from the Earth Sentinel. It is poisoned and salted, and you have a sample of it. What's a rhino? It's a large four-legged beast from Triokokshar. Sorry, from where? Triokokshar. It's one of the continents of Run. Oh, okay. It's obviously from a long way away. Yes. Have the insects collected a bit of salt in a pile, like a teaspoonful? They don't seem to have been collecting it all in one space. They've been grabbing it and dispersing it out into the nearby woods. They're trying to spread it out as much as possible so that it doesn't contaminate any further ground. A couple of grains of salt spread over a much larger area that is better than all put in one spot. If we investigate, we can tell what it is. For instance, what colour does the flame turn, if it's burnt in it, that sort of thing. You can start doing investigations on that if you want. I got a jar of dirt. This is why Epis was sent. Seed would never have thought of that. Exactly. Copy the image of the powdered metal for a pile of dirt. Yeah, could do, I suppose. What? If we you mentioned what was it? Triokokshar. What? That's not where we are at the moment. No, we're on the continent of Peor. And do you know what island we're on? We're on the island of Drenwil. Apis, now that you have thought to ask where you are, you have learned for the first time you are not on your island. Your island is Corintil. You are on a completely different island. So it is no wonder that that the seasons and the forest and the flora and fauna around you look very similar to where you're from, while also looking very foreign to anything you know. You have never been to this island, but it is an island that is part of the same archipelago. You are in the same country, the country of the Kingdom of Serentil, something that you would know. The Kingdom of Serentil is made up of 3 different main islands. You are from the northeastern island, and Drenwil is the west island. And you're on a different island entirely. We're on Drenwil. Are you not from here? No, I'm from Corintil. Oh, I see. So you have been displaced quite far. I suppose so. I legitimately thought you'd shifted continents. Now they just come across from another island. Better than being on the other side of the world. Yep. That's why the stars looked very, very, very similar. That's why the flora and fauna have looked very similar. Right. Well, you have a rest then, Julius, after whatever it was you were doing there. And he seems to have finished what he was doing and stepped down off of the dirt. You have a rest, and I will do some tests on this sample, see if I can work out what it is. Keep enough to test on that plant before we go back. All right. So Julius is going to have a short rest to recover his teleportation. You're going to do some tests on this plant. What do you want to do on it? You have a herbalism kit, which will definitely help. You also have a book on herbalism. You have a book on plants. You have a book on potions. You have brewer's kit proficiency. What do you want to do to try and test this thing? What are your intentions with it? I'd like to argue that our herbalism brewing skills books might give us some knowledge of soil maintenance, but I don't know. Absolutely they will, yeah. But, like, give me some ideas. What tests are you doing on it? Look on the book index about testing. Testing soil. Investigate in general, but flame colours are different based on what type of salt is it. Okay, you're getting into chemistry that Robert doesn't know about, so if I say that the flame burns blue, you're going to be like, oh, that means it has magnesium in it, and I'm going to be like, I didn't intend for that, I don't know what it has in it. Alright, taste test, that's an easy one to do. Taste it. Scientists do that, but I don't think it's a good idea. Alright, so first you smell it. It smells just like normal soil. You look at it. It looks just like normal soil. You dab your finger in it and just get a couple of grains of the soil on it. And right to the tip of your tongue. Tastes kind of like normal soil. But you feel, yeah, there is a little bit of a salty taste to it. Not much, but there is a little. How are you going to start a fire? You're going to use your, let's have a look what you got. You got torches, you've got a tinderbox. So you get one of your torches out, stick it into the ground, and tinderbox, you light it up, and then you take a couple of sprinkles and you place it on the fire, and it burns with a yellow flame. Thank you, Tree of Dave. It burns with a yellow flame. Rob, flame colour is basic high school stuff. Do you remember how old I am? I have not been to high school in literally half my life, more than half my life. I've spent more time in my life away from high school than I ever spent at high school or up to high school. I didn't do chemistry very well. Chemistry is my worst science. I'm very good at biology and physics and maths and a lot of other sciences, but chemistry I hated. I find it super boring. It seems to burn with a yellow flame. You taste it, you look at it, you do all of the different tests that you can think of it, the preliminary tests on it. You flick through your book as well on testing for soils and things. There is a section in the book that you come across that is about soil quality for plants in particular, and it mentions that like a few different ways to combat a slightly saltier ground is, washing it away, washing it deeper into the soil with water, and whatever else you guys do. I'm not a botanist, I'm not a gardener, I don't actually know about how to deal with salty earth very much, but you try and use the knowledge from the book and your knowledge with your survival skills to take 20 essentially doing what you're doing. And I'm going to say that at the end of that sort of short rest, when Julius is ready to go, you have learned that the ground seems to be, the salt that is in the earth seems to be regular table salt, sort of calcium, what is it? Sodium chloride. Sodium chloride seems to be the majority of this salt. It doesn't seem like the salt itself is any particular type. The soil, however, is also poisoned. The small tastes and tests that you've been doing hasn't affected you because you're a dwarf and you've got poison resistance, but you can tell that it is that some elements of toxic material have been poured into the soil as well, along with the salt. Good thing with sodium chloride is that there are plants that will there are plants that will grow and clean the soil. You can use calcium to help it. Well, there you go then. Would Apis know that? Same poison as a green dragon. Interesting. Let's have a look. You've got. This is definitely a check that you're gonna have to do. You can't take 20 on this, but I will give you advantage given your recent nature with the green dragons. Dice chem. What check is this? This is an Arcana check. You're not proficient in it, but that's a 13 with advantage. So 13 plus 3 from your intelligence is 16. It does very much remind you of the poison from the green dragon, yes. The poison that has been poured through the earth seems like it would be of a similar family, if not the same. Poison that you were very familiar with your time with Lucifreak, the green dragon. Physically poisoned, not magically poisoned, it seems. Yes, that's a conclusion that you come to. It seems like it's been physically poisoned. Rob, does Julius or Apis have any knowledge to test the soil on the fairy plant safely? Not so much test the soil on the... I mean, just touching it to the roots of the tree, touching it to the roots of the fey plant might tell you something. Poison sentinel? You ask, Julius, is there like a poison sentinel? I've heard that, and you tap your planar book. You're like, I've read about there being a plane of existence that's like a plane of poison, and you're like, that's right. He says, yes, that's right, there's a plane of poison. And is there a sentinel that's designed for keeping that back? No, the plane of poison is a tertiary elemental plane. It is not a real plane of existence in so much as it is simply a name given to the area where many of the actual planes of elemental magic collide. In the areas where 3 of the elemental planes cross over, you find the plane of poison. It is not necessarily its own plane, and so as such, it is the plane of poison is kept in check when you keep the other elements in check. Didn't the elves come up with an antidote or something to weaken the effects of the green dragon poisoning? Kind of, yeah. They definitely had been working on that. Julius, you mentioned a dragon in the southeast. Was it? What colour was it? It was a green dragon. Do you know if there's any other dragons around? There are no other dragons within the radius of my forest, no. I can feel all life in my forest, and there are no dragons here since I arrived. The last dragon that I understand was in this forest died a few years ago. We can put the soil in our hand and hold it towards the vine that wrapped around us earlier. The vine that wrapped around you let go. It didn't attach to you and stay there. Like you went to grabbed the base of the plant. It wrapped around you as if like a warning of like, if you pull me up, I've got you. And then you let go, and it let go as well. So the plant that came with you from the Feywild is back at the Drenvale town. The knights came with poison resistance potions. That certainly helped as well. Yeah. I've come across a green dragon before with poison very similar to this. It might not be a coincidence. No, perhaps not. It is my understanding that the Shadow Man was the one who poisoned the Sentinels, or destroyed them, damaged them in various ways, in his efforts to find the village. It could well be that he was also responsible for the death of the Green Dragon and harvested some of his poison before he did. It's possible, but these are speculations and theories at this point. Julius can't cast message, right? No, he can't. We have a vial of soil to test with the plant when we head back. Yeah, we've got a vial of soil to head back with. Do you know what happened to the dragon's body? I'm afraid I don't. It was before my time. It was before I arrived here in the village. I've only been in this plane of existence for a short time. Well, it appears the salt's normal table salt, but the poison seems to be very similar to, if not the same as, the green dragon's poisons. Good to know. That will help me in my purifications. I appreciate your studious nature. You seem to know a lot about the studies of plants. Seed knows a great deal of the properties of plants, but does not know how to study or test in ways that you seem to. It seems you're already filling in a niche. The Merry Gentleman has chosen well. And it seems you're just being complimented by a unicorn. That's very, it probably feels pretty good for Apis. Julius, the elves I was imprisoned with were working on a potion or something to weaken poisoning from green dragons. Maybe they could help. If they could, it seems that you're far from home. Unfortunately, my teleportation is limited in its range on this plane of existence. I would not be able to teleport you back to where you came from. It's simply within the purview of my forest. Seed shouts across from his from where he's digging. Shadow Man was bad man. He's opposite of Merry Gentleman. Him angry violent man. Not Merry Gentleman. Angry wanker. Autocorrect is making Seed speak better. All right. Well, shall we head home and see if we can uproot that plant? I suppose. Read the potion book for an antidote info, please. The potion book antidote information. Yeah, we'll probably have that. I think the potion book would have information in it on how to create various different antitoxins and things. And with Seed's help, you can potentially create that, but it would take some downtime. You would have to spend time in Seed's village with his herb garden, where he does his potion creation, and create some potions of antidote. But it does you do say, I'll say, Spiro, you do when you read the section in your potion book about antidotes. It is all in the frame of antidoting for a human. Like, it talks about getting stung by various different poisonous plants and the sorts of other plants that you can rub on them to counteract their poisons. It talks about how there are some creatures that live under plants, like on the underside of plants, that have a nasty bite, that have some poison in them. It talks about how to antidote yourself against getting bitten, blah blah blah. It never talks about like the antidotes in terms of like pouring it on dead soil. And so you're not sure if creating the antidotes would be useful for a soil situation so much as it would if you got bitten by it or poisoned by it. Not uproot, just What do you mean, sorry, Seed? Not uproot. We go to plant and take plant, but plant stay where plant is, and plant come on you, and then go where you go. So the plant stays behind. When you cast this spell, the plant sort of doubles. Plant stays where plant is, and then doubles onto you. Oh, right. So the plant will always be in that room. Yes. So you can continue making more of the plant by this spell. Yes. Oh, okay. Geographically speaking, is this island close enough to our original one that an animal messenger could make the trip? Difficult to say. You're not sure exactly. You're not super familiar with the layout of the islands. Maps aren't exactly very easy to come by in this world. Well, they're relatively easy to come by, but they're expensive, and you only really need one if you need one, and Apis has never needed one. So you walk over to Julius. He says, let's go then. And he grabs Seed, obviously, because Seed's going to be needed to cast the spell. He grabs you. You put your hands on him, and Mel comes buzzing down to you. Are we going back? And you say, Mel, you can stay here. We're just going to teleport back and back in again. Just keep lookout of any dangers in the area. And then you feel this dunking in this warm water again. It flows over you and down the arm that's touching Julius, and then this bright white light overtakes and then slam down into the ground. It's a unique experience, that's for sure. You are on the outskirts of the village. You walk up the village, over the crest of the hill and into the town. You walk over to the building that you slept in last night, and with Seed you head upstairs. Seed goes to the plant, and you say, just before you cast it, Seed, I just want to test something. You get your vial out and pour the poisoned and salted dirt into your hand. You go down to where the roots of this plant are and start to place it out towards it. Just next to it, it doesn't seem to do anything. You place it closer and closer. You get like grains of it and start sprinkling on the top of the root. The second that some of the dirt hits the root, it seems to curl up towards it and then start to like move almost like small electric shocks to like a dead frog's leg kind of thing. It's just twitching. You place the dirt right underneath the sort of tip of one of the roots, and it starts to grow towards it with great speed. Other roots around start to pull back and start to push towards that soil. You can see that this plant seems to like dig into and through and up and round the small amount of dirt that's in your palm. It seems to very much react to it, and in a way that it is seeking it out and going towards it. Huh. Okay. I suppose we've got our answer. Let's move then. Let's take this. And you stand up and you say, do I need to do anything? And Seed says, no, stand there. And then Seed touches you with one hand, and with his other hand you see in a very a moment that makes you remember and flash back to your time in the memory, in the dream that you had this morning. Some of your vague memories coming through in drips and drabs. You see him swirl with his hand and move this plant. It seems to grow in size. All these other vines growing off of it immediately and growing towards you. It shifts and grows over your person. Forms itself into that same plant material that you had, same plant material that you were wearing when you came through the portal the first time. And then it leaves behind the plant unchanged in size, rooted down to the ground where it was. You say, right, well there you go then. Let's go. You head downstairs. You walk outside and over to Julius, who is waiting for you. Julius, as you're getting to him, seems to sort of back up, and he seems to have been a little bit disturbed, and he goes, do you have everything you need? You say, yes, it seems to be working. And he says, good, we need to move. And he turns and he starts to out of the village. And you, startled, have to take off at a bit of a run to catch up with him. He's not exactly galloping, but he is cantering like out of the village. You move quickly, and what's happening? Why is the rush? And he says, I can feel movement in the area. There's not... we need to get there quickly. As you're running, Seed says, is it Earth people? And he says, yes, they're back. And he sort of gets to the area where you had gotten to before teleporting, and then sort of skids to a stop and allows for you to catch up. What do you mean, Earth people? And he says, the planes between the plane of Earth and this are weak. Put your hands on me quickly. You put your hands on him. Do you want to cast anything before you go? Protection from good and evil? Yes. All right. We will go down to your inventory. We will go down to the powder number. You are running out of your... Well, not running out. I suppose you've still got 5 of it. 5? Is that right? I thought you had less than that. Whatever. You've got 5 uses of the iron and silver powdery thing. As you're running towards Julius, you say, "Is it elementals?" And you grab down into your pouch of powder, and he says, "Yes, the elementals sometimes cross over. It's part of the reason why we're trying to fix the Sentinel." And you go, you say, right, and right before you put your hand on him, you take out this silver powder and you sprinkle it over your forehead, across your shoulders, down your chest, your sternum, into sort of the vital points, the chakra points. You're casting this spell that you've been taught how to cast, and you will spend off a spell slot. It is a first level spell, protection from good and evil, isn't it? You cast protection from good and evil on yourself, and then put your hands on Julius, and whoosh, you suddenly teleported away. Do we get inspiration for helping Seed coming up with a great idea that he never would have had? No. You get inspiration for doing things that are like, ooh, that's dangerous, but it's in character. Mostly that's what I give inspiration for. Doing things that are helpful to you because they're already helpful to you. Alright. Can you cast it on other people? I believe you can cast good protection from good and evil on other people as well. Because I think you've cast it on your horse once before. Or killer puns. Killer puns I sometimes award inspiration for, yes. Alright, so, thank you, Fancy. Until the spell ends, one willing creature that you touch, you, is protected against certain types of creatures. Aberrations, celestials, elementals, fey, fiends, and undead. Creatures of those types have disadvantage on attack rolls against you. They already have a disadvantage on the first attack against you because of your Displacer Cloak. They now have a disadvantage on all attacks against you whenever you're concentrating on the spell. The target can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed by them, and if the target is already charmed, frightened, or possessed by such a creature, the target has advantage on any new saving throw against it. I'm a dwarf helping a statue of the earth. It's pretty in character. Yes, but it's not something that's detrimental to you. If you're doing something that is detrimental to you, but it is, like, for instance, recently, you knew that you were walking into a trap, you could hear somebody screaming, and you knew full well that it was a trap. But there was that slight chance, what if it isn't? What if somebody's in danger? and you went and deliberately walked into a trap just to try and assure yourself that you are helping somebody in need. And that was very much in character, even though it was a very dangerous thing to do, so you got inspiration for it. Shame we can't take Pointy with us to fight. Yeah, Julius does not allow Pointy to touch him. Julius does, like, if you're going somewhere and you need Pointy with you, you have to walk, because Julius doesn't allow Pointy to teleport with him. Protection from good and evil, a concentration spell? I believe it is, yes. Somebody can check it out for me, but I think... somebody check it out for me, but I'm pretty sure it is. Alright, we will head over to... Alright, so as you cast Pass Without a Trace... Nope, not Pass Without a Trace. So as you cast Protection from Good and Evil and then slam your hand against the unicorn, who is right here, you land down next to him. Seed lands down on the other side and immediately uses a bonus action to turn himself into his wild shape elemental form. You can see that his form goes immediately translucent and starts to whip up. His long scraggly hair with bits of twigs and stuff stuck into it suddenly starts to whip around, and by the time it whips around and hits him in the face, it's completely turned into wind. His eyes have gone large, and his body sort of shrunk down. His legs shrunk down. His body going wider. His arms growing into wings as he turns into an owl form of an elemental. You can notice that the form of Seed's owl elemental, however, everything on his body, all of the things he's holding and wearing, turn into his body, except for the plant-like material that was growing over him. One of the benefits of verdant armor is because it's shifting and living as a living plant material, it transforms and fits itself to your body. So as he is swirling around, there's this kind of swirling plant material that's moving around with him, almost encasing this air elemental. Makes him easier to see which spot he's in. All right. I'll roll initiative. As you look around, landing down, you see that there are rocks that are kind of opening up and growing and cracking. There is a dirt mound that is just seemingly walking. It's one of those mounds of earth, the fresh churned earth that the badgers have been bringing by buckets. There's this earth mound that has started to move on itself, kind of like rolling and massing. It doesn't seem to be taking the form of a humanoid or anything, but it is definitely moving. What are people saying? Is there a fancy pun just been? Owlementals? Owlemental. These guys are just the salt of the earth. Bloody rock solid guys. These guys are the salt of the earth. They're bloody rock solid. Alright, you can have it. I'll begrudgingly give you a bloody inspiration for that. The spells and the inspiration on this page are not there because I fucked up when I was preparing this, and I deleted. Now that I've got an all-in-one app, I deleted the individual apps, and I forgot that I still needed them for the battle page, so I don't have them. But you do have inspiration and a lucky horseshoe and 3 of your first level spells and 2 of your second level spells. I'll have you roll initiative. Initiative time. So with your camera dice cam, let's see. Let's roll Mel's initiative because she's there. Nat 1. Good job, Mel. Let's roll your initiative. 12, nat 12 for you. Let's roll Seed's initiative. Seed and Julius will go on the same initiative under allies. They did a pretty good job. Alright. Initiative. So your allies will go here. You will go here. And Mel will go here. And then your enemies, which is your... they will go ahead of you. So this is our initiative order. This is what we're going to be in. Your allies will go first. Julius and Apis will start tackling the various different elementals that they can see around. I will have I will have you guys, if you want to be in with a chance to decide what Apis is going to do on this first turn of combat, I will have you put a particular code word in the chat. That way only the people who are wanting to be actively involved are going to get selected. The code word is going to be, once I get this ready, there we go, exclamation mark Earth. If you want to be in with a chance to decide what to do on this first round of combat, type exclamation mark Earth into the chat and you will decide what to do for Apis. In the meantime, I'm going to pull up Seed's stats here, and Seed is going to go to town. He used his bonus action to wild shape. He is then going to use, let's see, what is he going to do? Man, I need more screens. I need more screens. Let's minimize that down a little bit. If you're in the chat, it seems like I shouldn't try and control Seed at this juncture. Yeah, it will be too hard for you to control Seed at this juncture. You can tell me what you think Seed would do, and I will make it work in game mechanics terms. But like, you just give me like a rough idea of what Seed would do. While you're thinking about that, I will control Julius instead. Julius is going to charge forwards, and immediately he sees the one that's closest is this large rock, this large cropping of this particular boulder that has sort of started to crack and form and open it up, and he's going to reach forward with his hooves and just smash down upon it, and he's going to that's going to miss, I think. I've got so many tabs open. Earth Elemental, yeah, that's going to miss. He slams down and hits. I mean, obviously hits it, but doesn't do damage to it. So he is good. He did a charge though, so he's also going to then bring his horn down and try and pierce into some of the cracks between the rock to try and get into the interior of this creature. So you've seen Seed fight many times, yeah, I figured. Natural 1. Good job, Julius. You're doing a great job so far. Alright. Seed's turn. He is going to whip up a storm. He is going to move towards this this closest elemental here. And he's going to engage this creature. He is going to use his air owl attack. He's going to do... How big does it have to be? Is there a size limit? Each creature in the elemental space, so it can just do it. Yeah, he's just going to do a whirlwind attack. He moves into to engulf the dirt mound that this elemental is encompassing, and he's going to make a whirlwind attack. He must make a strength saving throw, which should be pretty good for the monster. Strength save is an 18, so that's going to succeed, unfortunately. It's going to succeed. Strength saving throw. On a failure, it takes blah 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 bludgeoning damage and is flung away. It's going to take half damage on a successful. Yeah, half damage and not be flung. So he's still going to do whipping damage to him as he whips a whirlwind around him. Seed's intention here is to move into the mound of dirt and try and disperse it. Try and just whirlwind it away. But unfortunately, the physical form of this creature so far is too strong to stick around, to be dispersed. That's 9 plus 2 is 11. 11 halved is 6 points of damage to that. 6 points of damage to that guy. That's his whirlwind attack. That's all he can do on one turn. But he stays in his space, taking up his that ability recharges. On a 5 or 6 from memory, on a 4 to 6 actually, as per the air elemental stat block, it recharges on a 4 to 6, so you're going to get it once every 2 turns essentially. Okay, at the end of your ally's turn, that's them two. Oh, and actually Mel as well. Almost forgot about Mel. She's an ally. What can she do against a big freaking rock monster? So to be clear, this one is made of rock. This one is made of loose dirt. This one is made of solid soil that's coming out of this one. And this one seems to be an amalgamation of all 3 of those, and he seems a lot larger. Oh yeah, Mel gets her own turn. She's not allies. That's right. I knew I was doing something weird there. Mel goes last. She's her own girl. Yeah, she's her own girl. I forgot that she's not ally. So let's see. So we've got allies, unicorn, and seed. I think that's it. The badgers and the insects aren't going to do anything, and Mel's swarm of insects are otherwise occupied over here for now. She has used her militia, so she will get the militia to take a turn, but they're currently preoccupied within the mound of dirt. Alright, so before the enemies get to go, I will draw the Nightbot to see who's going to take the turn. Roll it. Commander Steel. Commander Steel, you are deciding for Apis what to do on Apis' turn of combat. Let me zoom back so you can see the battlefield a little better there. Commander Steel, start to think about what you're going to do. You have an action, a bonus action, a movement. You can use them all. Try and save us time by having them all typed out and everything you're going to do. Account for your bonus action, your movement, and your action. You can ask questions now if you need clarification on anything. This is you right here. You've got one guy intercepted by Seed, who's currently got wind whipping around him. He's made of dirt. You've got Julius attacking the guy that's made of rock. You've got a guy that's made of solid compacted earth over here, like soil. And then you've got a big guy that's near Mel and is made out of a bit of everything. Alright. That is Commander Steel's turn. It is now the enemies' turns. The enemies are going to start doing their slamming attacks. Let's bring those up. Enemy Earth Elemental. There we go. So the first one is going to slam down on Julius. So as Julius slams down and tries to pierce his horn between a couple of the cracks in the rock to try and like get in and like a crowbar break off chunks of rock, he misses, and then the rock itself starts to fight back. This pressure builds up beneath one of them, and then just bursts out like a pillar of stone comes out of it and tries to slam into Julius. 19 plus stuff will definitely hit Julius. So I'll just put him down here, Julius and Seed. There we go. It is going to slam for 12 points of damage to Julius. He can handle it. Slams into him. Then another one comes in from the other side and slams up as well. 2 pillars of rock jut out. That's going to be a 21 to hit. Definitely hits. That's 5 plus another 5, 10 points of damage to Julius. Slams into him from both sides. You hear him kind of whinny in pain, but he's still standing strong. Then it is the one that is made of dirt. He is starting in Seed's space. Seed's space is, does it start in your space? Blah, blah, blah. If the target is thrown at another creature, yada, yada. It doesn't say anything about if you start in the whirlwind. So he doesn't take any particular damage, but he's going to try and whip out at the earth elemental. Julius has legendary actions. Oh yes, thank you for the reminder. So after the elemental's turns, Julius is going to rear back and take one more strike at it with his hooves. Damn, Julius. Maybe move on from the rock one. He got a 3 plus his modifier won't be enough to hit. He's going to move on to the dirt, I think, because he can't get through this rock exterior. Julius says, Seed, this one's too hard. This one's too hard for me to pierce. And then the dirt one is going to attack Seed. It is going to use this sort of, interestingly, they're kind of both attempting the same thing. The soil guy has the loose dirt. He has a similar sort of engulfing ability that Seed does. So he's going to try and engulf Seed, but I don't think it's going to be very effective. Seed has to make a strength saving throw using the stats of the air elemental, and because he's made of air, I'm going to give him advantage on this. Nat 20 and a 19. 19 and a 20. Seed is not affected by this dirt elemental at all. It's trying to engulf him, but there's no physical form for him to engulf. That is him. It is now the soil guy. Soil guy is going to... He's going to use one of his abilities to glide through soil. He disappears from where he is and reappears up beside you, Apis. Turn around. There you go. Boom. Again, he doesn't actually resemble soil so much as just like this mound of dirt. You see this kind of wave roll through the dirt towards you until eventually this solid lump of dirt and clay erupts out beside you, and like quicksand, it is going to try and grab you in place. It opens up itself down in the ground, fissures by your feet, and it's going to use its restrict ability. It's going to try and restrict you. This is going to be a strength. Did I make it strength or dex? Let me check. Dexterity saving throw, because it's kind of like earthquaking beneath your feet. It's about being light enough on your feet that you can pull your feet out of the cracks that it is trying to make for your ankles. Sorry, I need to roll in the tray for you. Here we go. Dexterity saving throw. Ooh, not great, but you've got a decent modifier. You've got a +6 to your dexterity save, so that takes it to a 15. A 15 is just enough. That is exactly what we needed. So with a 15, you succeed on not getting trapped or restricted by this soil creature beneath your feet. It tried to engulf you, and then if you were engulfed, it got to make a free attack against you, but you were not. You were not restricted by it. That is all that it can do. We zoom over to the bigger guy, though. And he turns... He's going to swipe out at... Ooh, is he going to go for Mel? Mel's a pretty big, buzzy bee. He's going to go for Julius. He is going to project... This one is the only one that does seem to be taking the form of a creature. It seems to, as it's growing and pushing itself out of the back of this this sentinel creature, it seems to be forming that a makeshift humanoid-looking thing. And then it pushes one of its arms forwards, and the whole sort of rock, this big boulder that is forming its hand, fires off, and he's making a ranged attack at Julius, which is a 2. That's going to miss. However, due to the product of what he's doing, it will continue past Julius, like the what's that spell called? Like the catapult. Like the catapult spell, it creates a line of attack. It fires out towards Julius. And if it misses Julius, it's going to continue on to hit you two. Is Julius really hurt? No, he's not. No, Julius has got decent hit points. Alright, so both of you need to... he needs to roll an attack against both of you individually. It's going to hit you. And it's going to hit his dirt friend as well. Displace Cloak, thank you for the reminder. He's got disadvantage on hitting you. So that might hit a miss. No, 18. 18 will still hit. So you've got your protection, so he had disadvantage against you, but he made an attack and got a 17 or an 8. A 17 or an 18 to hit. All right. Slams into both of you. You are going to take 8 points of bludgeoning damage each. Wham! Apis, 8 points of damage, and the Dirt Man also took another 8. Soil Man took another 8 points of damage. The AC should be 16 while you're there. Why would it be 16? Because of Verdant Armor. Verdant Armor only works when you are not wearing armor. You can only calculate your armor with Verdant Armor if you are unarmored. And Apis wears studded leather armor, so the armor part of the Verdant Armor does nothing. And then Constitution check to see if you are concentrating on protection. 10 plus your modifier of Constitution is fine, so you succeed on concentrating. Wham! The rock hits into you. Oof! Wins you a little bit, but you concentrate on the protection. Alright, that is all of their turns. We've had a couple of successes, a couple of failures. It is now your turn. Commander Steel. What do you want to do? What do you want to do, Commander Steel, on your turn? It is, you have action, bonus action. What is a Zephyr Strike effect? So Zephyr Strike allows you to move away from creatures without taking an attack of opportunity. You have to take the armor off to cast the spell, though. Yeah, I suppose you would, wouldn't you? Yeah, alright. Apis has got a 16 armor class and is not currently wearing the studded leather. When the Merry Gentleman cast it before, he can do what he likes because he's a big powerful boy. But when Seed casts it, he has to follow the rules of the spell, which means that he couldn't have cast it on you without you taking your armor off first. Which has actually worked out better for you, because you've got your studded leather armor in your bag, and you've got a verdant armor on. Alright, Commander Steel, what are we doing? Hack at the dirt creature closest to me with my sword. Alright, so you bring out your long sword, and you start hacking at the dirt in front of you. You have a bonus action that you can use for Planar Warrior if you want to do extra damage. You've got a bonus action you can do for Misty Step if you want to Misty Step away, or anything like that. Do I have my dagger out too? You can bring out a dagger. Yeah, you've got a Manticore dagger. You can bring it out. You don't have any weapons out at the moment because you just teleported in. Zephyr would end concentration on protection from good and evil. You can cast bonus action Planar Warrior on one of the 2 attacks. Yeah, Planar Warrior would give you more damage on one of the attacks, if that's what you want to do. With your free object interact, you bring out your sword. And then you can use your action to attack twice. You can't bring out your dagger and your sword in one turn unless you take the feat dual wielding. You're not proficient in like quick drawing 2 different weapons, and if you're drawing less, you're likely to slash your own arms. So you have to be trained in it, you have to be proficient in it. That's why you have to take a feat for it. But you can draw out your sword on this turn, and then on your next turn you can draw out a dagger, and then you can fight sword and dagger. So draw out with a free action, cut twice, and bonus action. What are you going to do with your bonus action, Commander? I will roll your attacks in the meantime. Let me grab both of your dice. Alright. A 3 and a 15. Do we want to reroll that 3 with your inspiration or not? The 15 plus your modifier will definitely hit, and you will do some damage with that. How much damage are you doing with your D8? 1. 1 point of damage plus your strength modifier, which is 1, takes it to 2 points of damage. 2 points of damage slashing. We're going to Planar Warrior it. Alright. Yes, okay, so we're going to Planar Warrior as well. So as a bonus action, you right before you, so as you draw out your sword, right before you attack, you feel this crackling of force energy down your arm, you feel this static electricity and this goosebumps. You put all of that energy into the hilt of the sword, which immediately turns the sword into this ethereal kind of ghostly quality. It seems to pass through the dirt of this soil man. It gets halfway through, and then boom, comes back to this plane of existence, bringing with it all of that extra force damage. So instead of that 2 points of slashing damage, it's now 2 points of force damage, and you get another 1. That's 2 1s on both the d8s. So you do 3 points of damage, but it is 3 points of force damage, so at least you're guaranteed to have gone through with it. There's very, very, very few creatures in the game, in the world, that are resistant or immune to force damage, so it's a good thing to do. Alright, so Planar Warrior, 1 slash. You've got second to slash, and it was a 3. Did we want to re-roll that, Commander Steel? You've got a what have you got? You've got both Inspiration and Lucky Horseshoe. Do you want to re-roll your 3 to see if you can hit it with your second attack as well? Otherwise, you're going to be missing. Are they resistant to slashing? You haven't done any slashing damage yet, so you don't know for sure. Yes, you want to re-roll? Alright, let's re-roll with one of those 2 in... where is it? There you go. I'm going to use Inspiration. And you're going to re-roll that second attack. Second attack coming in for a 14. 14 plus your modifier is going to hit now, because your attack is a +4, so that takes it to an 18. 18 is enough to hit. And you do 3 plus 1, so 4 points of slashing damage. So you've done 3 points of 3 points of force damage with that first attack. The blade seems to just glancing blow off of the top of this soil, cuts a bit of the soil off, but it wasn't as good of a strike as you would have liked. Cuts off a bit of the soil and poof, bursts back into this plane of existence, but you continue the momentum round and bring it down, and you cut into the soil. The soil seems to part and then almost Terminator 2 style seep back together. It seems like it has done damage. You've caused like a big groove in it, but the 4 points of slashing seems not to have done as much as you would have liked. It seems that yes, they are resistant to slashing damage. Alright, that's your bonus, your 2 actions. You have got movement if you want to take it, Commander Steel. If you want to take movement, you can do so. Did we check our concentration? Yes, you checked your concentration when you got hit by the rock. Move towards Julius. Alright. FYI, moving does provoke attacks of opportunity if you are leaving somebody's melee range. So if you step away from this guy's melee range, he gets a free attack on you, but you do get to get closer to wherever you're going, your allies and things. Still want to move? They have disadvantage to hitters, so it's not the worst. Yep, his attack of opportunity will be at disadvantage. Yes, alright. So you move. As you leave his melee range, he's going to take a big thumping attack. This soil that has failed to grab you reaches out almost like a pseudopod of clay and tries to punch you. That is with disadvantage. 13 or a 6. 6 plus its modifier, which is I think an 8, takes it to 14. Let me double check. Modifier of 8, yes, takes it to a 14. With the disadvantage from your protection from good and evil, this elemental creature cannot hit you. It reaches out towards you, and then and it would have hit with the first one. You feel the areas where you sprinkled the material component of this spell start to heat up, and it almost gives this imperceptible aura around you for a second, which pushes this elemental's aim off a little and misses you entirely. They'll be able to damage the hard one better at slashing. Can I say, hey Julius, change dance partners. Your hooves could trample this dirt into the ground better. Alright. At the end of your turn, Julius is going to use a legendary action to use a move action. He's going to leave the melee range of this rock guy. The rock guy is going to take an attack of opportunity as well at Julius. That's going to be a dirty 20 to hit, which is going to hit, and the rock guy does 14 points of damage to Julius. Julius is taking some damage. Whack whack, a big old bruise, but he's taking it like a champ on his rear end. He steps out of his range, moves into range of the dirt man, and you can use the rest of your movement to move up to the rock guy. All right, that is all of your turn, I believe. It is now Mel's turn. Mel is going to use her action to control. Well, she's already got her swarms summoned. Where are you, Mel? There we go. Militia is out. So she's got her swarms summoned, so they'll go at the end of her turn. So she can use her action to sting. She can use her action to soporific spores and try and put him to sleep, but she only does that when you tell her to. Stinging some dirt. I mean, she's not very smart. She can see you hacking at dirt, so she might as well try and sting him. She gets down in his grill. She gets right over to his face, and she's gonna try and stab this guy in the face with a stinger. Go, Mel! It's your birthday. You can do this. 19 on the dice. All right. This level she's doing 1d6 plus dex, 7 points of damage, but that's halved to 4 points of damage to the big guy. 4 points of damage, and then 2d6 poison damage as she tries to inject poison into him. She quickly learns that regardless of what she rolls, it does nothing. It doesn't seem like the poison affects him in any way. Alright, that is Mel's turn. She's done a poison stinger attack.
It's quite hard to hurt this one. Apis, it does not seem to hurt with my venom.
Just examined poisoned dirt. Yes, you did. Yeah, and the dirt itself was not affected by the poison. The creatures that live in the dirt were. So the poison doesn't seem to affect the actual dirt itself. Made of rock and earth, would they be able to even fall asleep? Maybe. one way to find out. The Earth Sentinel isn't immune to being poisoned. What makes these guys so special? Maybe because they've already got poison in them. Put salt on the end of your stinger, Mel. Alright, that is Mel's turn. It is the militia. The militia are going to swarm out and try and sting and bite at this guy. They are going to take 2 attacks. She's got 2 swarms of them. This time it's ants and burrowing creatures that she was using to try and transport the salt out of the creature. Out of the sentinel, rather. So with a 9, that's going to miss, but with a 14 plus modifier, it's going to hit. So the militia are going to do, I think it's 2d4 damage. Alright. Oh, not bad, not bad. It's 9 points of damage to that guy. It takes it to this, but it's halved because it's all biting and it's specific, so it's 5, so it takes it to that. Alright. Halved because it's biting insects and it's not doing as much damage as it could. She's telling it, get it, stop it moving, distract it. Alright, that's the militia. We're back to the top of the round with our allies. This rock one is going to turn itself towards you. Again, it doesn't seem like a humanoid creature so much as it's just like the rock that you're standing on is moving and bits of it are pseudopoding out and attacking. It's going to turn towards you, but the allies are going to get to go first. It's turning its attention to you. The dirt is turning its attention to the unicorn. The soil, the loose soil, is going to turn itself towards the wind guy. But before they get a chance to attack, Julius is going to strike out first. Julius is doing much better against the soil, the compacted soil and clay one. I'm going to start calling him clay because otherwise I'll get dirt and soil mixed up. The clay one is going to get a strike from Julius's hooves. That is going to hit, and it's going to deal. Let me just double check unicorn. I think it's 2d6. Unicorn hooves 2d6 plus 4. Yes. That is 14 points of damage to the soil, and I believe the unicorn's weapon attacks are magical, so his hooves attacks do go through with full damage, which is 14, yeah, 14 points. All right, and then his horn comes in, and he gets to make a horn attack as well. 1 hooves and 1 horn. Oh, that was so close to a nat 20. But not quite. So that's going to hit as well, though. D8 plus 4. That's 8 points of damage with the horn. It's magical, so it goes through the whole amount. He's stabbing into this clay creature with great aplomb, and it is doing a great deal of work. What does Dispel Evil and Good do? Maybe you can do that. Oh yeah, Dismissal. As an action, you can make a melee spell attack against the Celestial Elemental, Fey, Fiend, or Undead. If you hit, you can attempt to drive the creature back to its home plane. That's what he should do. Julius is just getting warmed up, forgetting what he can do. He's going to try and drive these guys back with a Dispel Evil and Good as an action. Oh, technically he has to cast it as an action, and then he has to blah blah blah. Fuck it. He'll just do it as an action because he's powerful. The other guy, the guy that's made of loose soil, he's going to attack at Apis. Your ally is Seed. Seed is going to go first. Seed is going to see if he gets his whirlwind ability back. He does not. So Seed is instead going to... he can do 2 whipping wind attacks. Yep, he's going to do 2 whipping wind attacks, slamming down with the beating wind of this owl, trying again to disperse the air of this loose soil as much as he can. He hits down twice. One's a 26 to hit, and the other is only a 12, so the 12 will miss, but the first one will hit, and it will do... oh, nice. Max that out, so... 18 points of damage to the dirt guy. 18, and it is bludgeoning damage. Does it count as... It doesn't count as magical, unfortunately, so it is halved. 18 points halved to... Oh no, sorry, so for the soil... yeah, for the soil he doesn't get to halve it. So 24 points total damage done to him. Alright, so the dirt's taken some damage, the soil has the clay has taken some damage. I'm going to call him clay on my sheet here. Dirt and clay. The dirt's taken some damage, the clay has taken some damage. The one that I've called boss has taken a little bit of damage, but rock has been unaffected for now. At the end of the bad guys' turns, I'm just going to roll this. Tordurk. Start typing out what you want to do on your turn. We've got one more round. We've got the enemies' turns now, and then after the enemies have gone, you get to go. So start thinking about what you're going to do, particularly include your action, bonus action, and movement. Did he add half his wisdom to his strength? No, he added it to dexterity. And you add your damage as a as the owl. You are using your dexterity to do the whipping wind attack. You still here, Tordurk? Can I get a reaction from you to just let me know that you've actually stuck around? Excellent, perfect. Start thinking about what you're doing then, and I will move into the bad guys. Alright, this dirt. How's he gonna fuck up the wind? How am I gonna use his cool abilities? Actually, what's the distance here? He might be able to get away with it. Might be a bit too far. Let me double check. Rulers. I suppose it's this, isn't it? It's actually just in space. 15 feet. 5 meters. 1 meter is 1 meter is just over 5 feet. So it's I'm gonna say, because then I get to use its cool thing. He's going to start his space in this. He's gonna move here without leaving the wind's space. Turn around, you bastard! And then he's going to send out this volley of loose dirt. This peppering of small bits of particles of dirt just clouds out from him in the direction of both Julius and Seed. They both have to make dexterity saving throws. Thankfully, Seed, as is dexterous owl, should be very good at this. I need like 4 different monitors. This is crazy. Seed has got a dexterity bonus of plus 6 in this form. So that's a 21. He succeeds. And Julius also succeeds with a 15 on the dice plus his modifier. Actually, yeah, 15's fine. Alright, so they both succeed, both going to take half damage and not be blinded, which is great. Cake Ladder said Seed's attacks are magical because of... Oh yes, thank you, Cake Ladder. Yes, your attacks are magical because of your level as a druid. You get the magical attacks from level 6, I think. This soil cone comes out from this one and does not blind you because you both succeed on your dex saves, and you manage to avoid most of the damage from it. Where's my dice? Gotta pick up the right dice here. 11, 13, 13 plus 5, is it? 13 plus 5, 18. 18 points of damage. You both succeeded, so you take half. 9 points each. 9 points each, and Seed is, in this form, resistant to non-magical attacks, but it is magical. 9 points to both Seed and Julius. Alright, Julius is not looking great. He's not wounded, but he's not enjoying the damage that he's taken. This is in fact whipping, slashing damage, piercing and slashing damage, Seed, so you actually take only 4 of that. As it's whipping into his verdant armour, all of this storm of soil and particles and rocks and things that this soil monster is spraying out from itself. It's slamming into Seed's form, and you can see that a lot of the wind is just kind of blowing it to the side, and the bits that are getting through are kind of getting absorbed by the energy of Seed around him. He seems to have this sort of toughened exterior that keeps like you're peppering into an arcane shield. You're seeing this shield kind of absorbing a bunch of this piercing damage. Alright, that is the soil guy. The clay guy is going to... Can he get his restrict back? You can see if he can restrict. He does. Alright, so he's going to restrict Julius, or he's going to try to, because if he can grab him by the hooves, he can't do his hoof attack anymore. So this clay guy kind of goes down into the hardened dirt and does this waving kind of opening, cracking dirt, and Julius has to make a dexterity save to get out of the way of it or be restricted. Julius Unicorn, dexterity save 13 is not going to do it. So he is going to, he's got legendary resistance, hasn't he? Yeah. So he's going to use legendary resistance to avoid that. He doesn't want to get trapped and restricted by this guy. Our bow would be a better option for piercing if we want to go that way. Need to get out of melee for that. Yeah. If we swap planers, we can't. If we swap weapons, we can't planar. But if you drop your weapon, you can. That is the clay guy failing again to do his restrict, and he can't get his free attack because he failed on his restrict. We'll do the thumping guy. The rock is going to come up and try and slam into Apis. Pillars of rock will try and slam into you with disadvantage. That's going to be a 5 plus modifier is a 15, which is a miss. The next guy is with this disadvantage. 10 and a 10. 10 plus 10 is 20. Dirty 20. 20 will hit with disadvantage. The first one will miss. You dodge to the side on this moving rock beneath your feet. The second one, though, you dive to the side just as it's coming up, and it kind of twists your ankle on the way up and scrapes rock all the way up your calf. It's very painful. Well, we'll see how painful it is. How painful is it? It is 2d8 for this guy, yeah. 2d8 for the rock. 5 plus 5 is 10 points of damage to Apis. 10 points of damage, and your displacer cloak shimmers back to its self. You now have to make a concentration check to avoid the dropping the protection from good and evil spell. That's a 9 plus your con mod is more than 10, and you have to take half of the damage you took, or 10, whichever's high. So you only needed a DC 10 there, and you succeeded just. Alright, you are still concentrating on the spell. That is both of the rock monster's attacks. It didn't hit you with both of them. Can't do its extra thing. Oh, it did hit Julius with both of them, didn't it? Oh well. Never mind. Rock guy does a lot of damage. Yes, so you're starting to pick up, hopefully. You're starting to pick up a couple of different effects of these different elemental types and the different things that they do. Rock guy can't do a great deal of like exciting things, but he can hit for quite a bit of damage. This clay guy can try and trap you. This guy can do a couple of things, and then this guy's got a bit more of everything. Alright, yeah, at the end of his turn, Julius is going to take a legendary action. I think he's going to heal himself, just to be careful here. Legendary action, he's going to heal self for the cost of 3 actions, and because he is in his forest, any healing is just automatically maximized, which means he gets 16 plus 2, 18 hit points back. He's going to use all 3 of his legendary actions to heal 18 hit points, taking him to this again. Nope, not that. This. Do some maths better. There we go. Alright, that's all of the bad guys except for Big Guy. Big Guy is being swarmed. Let's see. Can anybody in a row? Anybody in a row again? He could try and just go through all of you. This guy won't take the damage because it'll be rock on rock, so it won't hurt him. The clay guy I said is currently just shifted beneath, so this is actually perfect. He can't get the wind guy in, but he can get Apis and the horse, and the other 2 will be resistant to it. Yeah, so he's going to do his rolling attack. And this is where we learn the nature of the title. Rock and roll. This guy, to get out of the range of the biting insect and Mel, starts to move forwards, sort of curl himself forwards, and then with his back legs he pushes himself off, and as he pushes he goes into a roll. He does leave the melee range of the militia, who take attacks of opportunity, and one of them actually hits. Well done, militia. You're not going to do a great deal of damage, but every little helps. That's 4 plus 3, 7, halved, rounded up to 4. Took 4 points from that. And then Mel also gets an attack of opportunity. She's going to take a strike at him as well. She's going to miss though. Actually, she might not. What's Mel's attack modifier? Where are you, Mel? Mel, where you at? She's got a... What's this level? She's got a +3 proficiency, so +7, 15. Unfortunately, 15 will miss. So she tries to take a strike at him with her stinger, and he leaves her melee range. Alright, he is going to move in a straight line, rolling forwards. He's going to roll over your space. He's clipping the side of his rock buddy, who gets who has resistance to this bludgeoning attack anyway. And he's rolling over the top of Julius's space as well, and the clay guy. And he's going to go in a straight line this way, basically until he hits something or wants to stop. So he's going to slam into that tree and then stand up. And on the way, he is going to slam into Apis and Julius. Apis, you need to make both a dexterity saving throw first to see if you get out of the way, and then if you are hit, a strength saving throw to see if you're knocked prone as well. Spoilers, you don't want to be knocked prone by this guy. Alright, so first for you, a dexterity saving throw to see if you avoid it. Or take half anyway. 10 plus your dex save of 6 for you. That's a 16. 16 is enough. So you avoid taking any further effect from it. You just take half the damage. As you are slammed into, whoosh, you dodge. You see it coming and dodge to the side, whoosh, staying within the melee range of this rock, whoosh, staying on the rock essentially. The rock does not get to make a dexterity saving throw because that's one of the products of this rock. It cannot move. It doesn't have a move speed like the others do. But it is going to get hit, but it is resistant to the damage type that it is. So let's roll it. Okay, it cannot be prone. That's another product of the rock. It can't be prone, but it is going to take the damage. Oh, not bad damage either. And halved points of damage. Okay, then it is going to hit Julius. Julius, get out of the way. Dive! Not a great dive, Julius. Not a great dive at all. What was your dex mod? That is a... Oh, man. That is only a 10. Julius is going to get hit by this thing. Legendary resistance. I think he's only got the one. He's a relatively weak unicorn at this stage. Yeah, no, he's only got the one. He's just used it. God damn it. Alright, Julius is going to get hit, so I guess he'll take the damage, and then I'll roll. Man, that's a lot of damage too. It's 12, 14, 14 plus 5, 19 points of damage to Julius. Just healed that, mate. And then Julius also has to succeed on a strength save. Oh, careful, careful, careful. There we go. That is a failure on his strength save as well. Jesus, Julius. Why, mate? Why? You're meant to be the boss here. You're meant to be the big bad guy. How do I knock him prone? Status, knockdown. He's knocked prone, which means he takes that damage again. As he was slammed into and knocked from behind, Julius was crushed down beneath this huge rolling mass, taking a further 10 points of damage. The clay guy was already under the ground, can't move because he was trying his engulf thing. So he's going to take the damage, and he's going to take that as well. 11 points plus 5 is 16 points of damage to the clay guy. Clay guy's not looking good. That's a lot of damage that. Oh, sorry, halved. 16 halved. 8. Okay, so he's not wounded. 43. Okay, Julius knocked prone and crushed underneath this thing. He's not looking great, is Julius? He's not wounded, I don't think. Let me double check. He is not yet wounded, but he is looking close to. It's the no thumbs advantage. Surely they have advantages against the... Julius does not have sure-footed. The certain creatures, certain four-legged creatures have a feature called sure-footed that says you have advantage against being knocked prone. But Julius is a dainty-legged dainty-legged unicorn. Does not have that goat-like feature, unfortunately. Concentration check for Apis. We got hit again. Thank you for the reminder. Apis, here we go. Ooh, 4. 4 is going to fail, and you're going to drop protection from evil and good, unless you want to use your final reroll. You have a lucky horseshoe to reroll that if you want. Julius is more dressage and less pack mule, exactly. If we don't, we can use Zephyr Strike. All right, we will drop the protection from good and evil then. As you are slammed into by this rolling mass, you thankfully managed to dodge out of the way of it and got slammed into, clipped on the way past, but you weren't knocked prone, you weren't crushed under it like Julius was. That is its turn. That is all of the bad guys being able to do what they can do. You've seen the rock and the roll. Now, who are we at? Tordek. Tordek, you're up. What do you want to do? You've got an action, a bonus action, and a movement. You are currently in melee, engaged with the rock guy. Alright, Tordek. Zephyr Strike. Move out of melee range of the rock guy towards the orange-topped tree. Drop your longsword, draw your bow, shoot the clay one twice, move 5 feet to get behind the tree. That is the efficiency I like to see, Tordek. Well done. Alright, so with a bonus action, you are casting Zephyr Strike, which is a first level spell. Away it goes. Bring. Then, with your next part of your movement, you are moving away. Zephyr Strike allows you to move like the wind. You feel the wind whipping up around you. So you move away towards the orange-topped tree right there, look. You move away from the rock without taking attack of opportunity. You drop your sword in your space. I don't have a little mini sword for you, so just remember. Stupid Twitch tails. No, there we go. You draw out your longbow and take a shot at the clay guy who is currently engaged with Julius. If only you had sneak attack, right? Draw your bow, shoot the clay one twice, and then move 5 feet to get behind the tree. So that would be your bonus, your action, and your movement. Fantastic. Alright, first attack is going to be a 2 to hit. A 2 plus your modifier will not be enough. As you fire off one of your arrows, it strikes wide. Unless you're going to use your lucky horseshoe to re-roll it. It's up to you, Tordek. Your second attack will be, oh gosh, a 7. 7 plus 8. Oh, with the clay guy, he has a lower AC, so that might be enough. What have you got? A plus 8 to hit. Yes, that will be enough. 15. Can we retcon take that Zephyr Strike on the first hit? We can, sure. So you're going to use the once per spell ability of Zephyr Strike to take an advantage on an attack. The second one will just hit. The first one with advantage was a 2 or a 5. Unfortunately, it's not Apis' day today. 5 plus your modifier will not hit, unfortunately. You fire off. You strike at the clayman. Aren't we out of rerolls? No, you've got one. You've got one. Whatchamacallit left. Lucky horseshoe. Alright, for the one that does hit though, you are going to do 4 plus your modifier 3, so you're doing 7 points of damage to the clay. The clay is resistant to piercing damage except for magical things. You have not done a magical attack there. Your weapon isn't magical. You weren't using any of your particular arrows, you said, so just 7 halved, rounded up 4. And the clay guy is looking wounded. Your arrow sticks through a big chunk of it, which kind of like comes away and cracks open, and it definitely seems to be having a harder time pushing its form back together. Womp womp. First arrow missed, unfortunately. Yes. If we get it after a miss, no, it's let me double check the spell, just so I'm not sending you wrong. But I think the Zephyr Strike does extra damage. In fact, I'm not sure if Zephyr Strike does extra damage at all. It gives you advantage on an attack, but I'm not sure if it gives you extra damage on it. Once before the spell ends, you can give yourself advantage on a weapon attack roll on your turn. The attack deals that attack deals an extra 1d8 force damage. All right. Whether you hit or miss, your walking speed increases by 30 feet until the end of that turn. So we have used both of our attacks and our action, but we now have 30... What did we move? Like 10 feet back. We've got 25, so we've got like 45 feet of movement left, Tordek. 45 feet of movement. Where do you want to move to? You can just go your original plan of just going 5 feet behind the tree, but now you know you've got a lot more movement left. You can go wherever you want, really. 45 feet is about what? What's 45 feet? 15 times 3, so it's 9 meters ish. Is that right? No, 9 is 30, right? I don't know. Stupid feet. Oops. Smart to move away from Rocky so it can't catch up. 13.7 meters, thank you. So you can go quite far with 45 feet. You can go all the way over here if you want. Further into the trees, alright. Further into the trees, we go over here and give ourselves some cover behind the trees. Good idea. Good to not be in a line with any of our mates. Smart. Alright. That is all of Tordek's action, all of Tordek's turn. Thank you very much, Tordek. Very good turn indeed. Let's go back to the initiative order. We are on to Mel. Mel and the militia. Mel and the militia. Mel is going to use her turn. Where's she gone? She's disappeared. There she is. Who can she attack? The clay guy is looking the worst, and with a stinger into soft clay, she can probably do more damage to him. So she's going to go over here, fly past the rock guy without an attack of opportunity. The militia are going to come as well, and all three, the militia and Mel, are going to attack this clay guy that's on Julius. Mel is that one, right? Mel is going to miss. One of the militia is going to miss, and the oh, actually he has the surrounded condition now, because with Mel and the militia, so that means they have advantage, which is good. So the one who hits still just hits, no nat 20. The one who misses, still same number on both. The second militia gets a 2 on both dice, and then Mel gets a 3 or a 12. 12 plus her modifier will hit. All right, so with the advantage of surrounded condition, the clay guy gets hit by Mel. Let's do Mel's. Let's do the militia first, because they're tiny and weak. They're not going to do a hell of a lot. 6 plus their modifier 9, I think it is. So we've got 9 halved, rounded up to 5 to the clay. That's not looking good. And then Mel is going to do a stabby stab with her stinger. What is it? It's this one. Oh, nice. Maxed it out, 10. So half that because of that. Takes it down to 5. And then is the clay guy immune to the poison? Clay guy is resistant to poison, so he still takes half of it. Alright. So she rolls the poison, gets... So halved up, rounded up is another 5 points to him. Taking him to 62. He's on his last legs, but he's still standing. Clay guy is still standing after all of those attacks from Mel and her militia. She's doing a good job. Good job, Mel. Can we do any kind of magical damage? With Planar Warrior, we can turn our damage into force energy, which turns it magical, of course. Alright, that was Mel's turn. It is now your ally's turn. Let's start with... Oh no, Julius used all his legendary actions to do his heal self before, which he's probably going to need to do again as soon as he gets them back. So let's go Julius's turn first, because then he gets to stand up and do his thing before anything else goes wrong for him. So Julius uses his action, stands back to his feet, uses his movement rather to stand back to his feet. He is going to use his, let's have a look, let's see that I'm not forgetting anything. Oh, he said dispel evil and good, right? Dispel evil and good. Big guy's going to be useful for that, but he's going to have a better saving throw, that's what I think. Charisma saving, charisma's pretty good. charisma saving throw is pretty good. They've got a decent chance of failing that. All right, so he's going to take the risk. He's going to charge around this clay guy and move towards this rock. Right at the same moment that he's going to hit the rock guy, the clay guy is going to take an attack of opportunity and miss. And then Julius, as he is going to strike at the big guy, he's going to cast Dispel Evil and Good, and he's going to use it for the dismissal option. As your action, make a melee spell attack. So a melee spell attack is going to be... Hey, nice. 19 plus stuff will definitely hit. On a hit, you attempt to drive the creature back to its home plane. The creature must succeed on a charisma saving throw or be sent back to its home plane if it isn't there already. And then that's all I can see. Let's open that in a new tab so I can read the rest of it. If they aren't on their home plane, undead are sent to the Shadowfell and Fey are sent to the Feywild. Alright, so he's going to strike it. Charisma saving throw. What is Julius's DC? Let me get this all sorted. DC 15, is that right? It can't be right. He's got to have a higher than that. Oh, DC 17. There we go. DC 17 charisma saving throw, and this thing has a -2 charisma. So he needs to roll a 19 or more to succeed on this wisdom save. Alright, here we go. I'm going to roll it on camera. 5 -2 charisma is not going to do it, and the big guy is dismissed. Boom! He just seems to... He charges round this clay guy, whooshes out towards him and tries to hit, and then the horn starts to glow, and then he drives it right into the base, sort of the solar plexus of where this humanoid-looking elemental is, and as it strikes right in, boom, there's this explosion of kind of dirt and rock and dust which showers down over the entire area, sending the thing that was bringing this elemental into this plane back to its home plane. Get out of here, you lump of dirt. Julius still has some movement left, so he's going to continue the momentum forwards and then off the edge of the board and die. Whoops. He's going to turn around, and he's going to use all of his movement to turn around and go back towards the clay guy, engaging with him in melee, so he can't run or anything. Not that he's going to want to run. They're kind of mindless elementals at this point. Alright, good work, Julius. At the end of Julius's turn, it is Seed's turn. Seed, do you get your wind back, your whirlwind? Because if you do, this will really help. You do not. Guts. You could have ended this dirt guy with a single strike. Is Seed going to leave this guy? And let's think. Seed is currently keeping this guy engaged, but you could finish off that guy. Seed's just going to slam at this guy again, I think. And because he knows he can do full damage to him. Alright, 2 attacks from Seed with his whirlwindy thing. Oh, those are both garbage. 4 and a 3. Let me double check your modifier. It's not going to be that enough. No point even checking. It's not going to be high enough. Oh, actually, no. The dirt guy had a pretty low AC, relatively speaking to the rest of them anyway. So, Seed, check you. Where are you, Seed? What's your attack modifier? Oh, damn, that's pretty good. Holy shit. How did you get a +10 modifier? Oh, it's because you've got, yeah, you've got your half your wisdom modifier added to it. So that is 14. 14 is just enough to hit, so one of them misses, one of them hits. Whips at him and tries to whip away some of the soil. How much damage is he doing with a whip? 2d8. Go Seed, it's your birthday. 2d8 plus what? 2d8 plus 6 bludgeoning. So that's 15 points of damage. 15 points of damage. This guy's not looking good either now. A bunch of the dirt is starting to get dispersed around the place with Seed's owl form whipping in and out. It's kind of like whipping. It's like the pecking beak is kind of like driving wind into the center of the dirt. Where's Pointy? Pointy didn't come with Pointy isn't allowed to teleport with Julius, so Pointy generally stays around the village and protects the village. He doesn't come out too far because he doesn't walk very fast. Julius hates him. Julius, yeah, hate is an interesting word. I'm not sure he hates him so much as he abhors his alignment. Alright. That is Seed's turn. At the end of Seed's turn, Julius is going to use 3 of his legendary resistances, legendary actions to heal himself again. He just maximizes that out, so that's going to be 18 again. 18 takes him back down to 38 damage that he's taken, so he can handle that. He can hack it. Not wounded yet. At the end of Julius's legendary action, it is now the enemy's turn. As we go into the enemy's turn, I'm going to roll the Nightbot giveaway. Batmerp. Batmerp, start thinking about what you're going to do on your turn of combat. There are 2 wounded elementals and one that doesn't seem to be able to move. Who's going to go first? Let's go the clay guy first, because he's getting attacked by Julius and he's looking the worst off. He's going to... Does he get his engulf thing back? His restrict thing? He doesn't. Gosh, darn it. Alright, clay guy, I'm sorry to say it. You're probably going to die. Let's have a look. What can you do? Soil. I think you're just going to have to do a slam attack. You're just going to have to do a slam attack, mate. It's not, doesn't do as much damage as the rock guy, but... That's all you got. You didn't get your engulf back. 3 plus modifier is not going to hit. Actually, Julius has got terrible armor class, hasn't he? Yeah. But still, 3 plus 8 is still not quite enough. Julius does have a terrible armor class, though. Did we get confirmation from Batmerp? Are they around? Yep, there you are. Perfect. Hello, Batmerp. Consider what you're going to do on your turn while these guys are attacking. This guy missed with his attack against Julius. Oh, he gets 2 attacks. That's right. Second attack is going to hit, thankfully. Alright. Well, thankfully for him, anyway. He only does 2d6 rather than 2d8 from the rock guy. 5 plus 4 is 9 points of slamming damage against Julius. 9 points to Julius. He can take it. Takes him to that. Then let's do the dirt guy. Does he get his cone back again? Because that would be a useful thing to do. Does he get it back? He does not. He is going to try... He can't engulf this wind guy. There's not much he can do. Just tries to punch out. Just tries to get his soil together and just kind of like whip and punch and... Oh, I think I gave him a fog. It's pointless doing fog. That's for if he's escaping. He's not escaping anywhere. In fact, he's going to leave the wind. That's what he's going to do. He's going to leave the wind. He's going to take an attack of opportunity from the wind peck. With the 21 is definitely going to hit. And your wind peck is going to do... plus 6 points of damage, 12 points of damage, 12 points to the dirt. He's not liking that, but it's worth it if he gets to hurt Julius. He's going to move over here and do some soil slamming against Julius instead. That's going to hit, but only just, and that one's going to hit for sure. Then he is doing very little damage on this. This plus 3. 13 points on the first one, and another 9, so 13 and 9 is 22. 22 points of damage to Julius. 22 takes him to wounded. Julius is... nice. Julius is wounded as boom, boom, all of this dirt and clay and soil is slamming Julius from both sides. You're seeing blood starting to form on his otherwise celestial body. He can still handle himself, like he's still got a decent chunk of hit points left, and if he does his self healing, he can recover a bit of it. But that is all of those turns. It is finally the rock guy. The rock guy is all that's left. Can he see you through the trees? Let's have a look. Where is Apis? Apis is over there, and you're hiding behind that tree. So from where the rock is to where Apis is, I'm going to say you have half cover behind that tree, which was kind of your intention in the first place. You wanted to take cover behind that tree. The rock cannot move, however, it can fire rock. It is going to fire a rock, kind of like another one of these pillars of jutting stone. It comes out jutting at an angle, and then a bit of on the end of it breaks off and fires in your direction. It is going to have disadvantage to hit you because of your displacer cloak, which makes it a nat 1. Nat 1 damage. It can't accidentally hurt any of its friends by doing that, so the nat 1 doesn't do anything in particular, but it just misses. And it only gets 1 ranged attack rather than 2 melee attacks. That is the product of being the rock. He can't get. He doesn't have a move action, and he can only make 1 ranged attack. All right, that is all of the bad guys. Yeah, that's all of the bad guys. It is now Batmerp's turn. What are you doing, Batmerp? Alright, 2 arrows into the clay. 1 with the planar warrior. If the clay's dead, then the dirt guy. And if that's dead, then the last guy action surge for 2 more arrows at a previously stated target order. Fucking fantastic. Batmerp, well done. And well done for remembering that you are now a 2nd level fighter and have action surge. So, you've gotten into the trees, you whip around and you see this rock come flying over. You heard this jutting, cracking stone. And you see that this stone elemental thing can fire off stones in your direction, but as long as you're not next to it, you should be okay. You whip around, you feel this energy down yourself, you planar warrior into your arrow and fire it at the clay guy. First guy with planar warrior is going to be 5 plus your modifier of 8 is not enough to hit the clay, unfortunately. Do you want to reroll with your lucky horseshoe? First action is your planar warrior. Your bonus action was planar warrior. Your first attack is going to miss. Action surge isn't a bonus. No, action surge is just like you choose to do it. It doesn't cost you anything. It's a free thing to activate. I'm going to use a reroll. All right. So using your what you call it, ring, lucky horseshoe. As you are firing with the planar warrior, the arrow passes through the passes past the bow and into the ethereal plane, and it seems like it's going off target because there's this like surge of wind. But luckily, your lucky horseshoe comes in and turns it into a hit with a 16 plus your modifier. Just at the last second, this wind dies down just enough to let the arrow dip and slam right into the back of the clay golem, or the clay guy, the man made of soil. You're going to turn all of this into force damage, which you won't be able to resist. You're going to do 2d8 plus 3, which is an 8 and a 3 as well, which is 6. 6 plus 8 is 14. 14 points of damage to the clay guy. That's enough. He had 11 left. With 14 points of damage to the clay guy, just as he's reaching out and smacking Julius in the head, you can see Julius gets hit in the jaw, and his long horse neck manages to avoid getting whiplash because of the thickness of his muscles, but he does seem to be like blooded up in the face a little bit. And then just as the clay guy's reaching back for another, the arrow sticks through the back and just explodes him into soil, into thick soil. Alright, that one is this one. Get out of here. Killed. Alright. Then you have another attack. You reach back with your arrow. Let me double check I'm not forgetting anything. If the clay guy's died, go for the dirt guy, and if he dies, go for the last guy with an action surge at 2 more arrows. Alright, so the second arrow comes. You fire off without planar warrior this time and aiming for the dirt, the one that is more particular rather than like solidly clay and dirt. Firing off the arrow at him. Let's see if you hit. Oopsie daisy. Bounces out of the tray. 18 plus modifier will hit. This one does not have planar warrior with it. Oh, only a 1. 1 plus 3 is 4 points of damage. 4 points. It does. It is resistant to piercing damage, unfortunately. So 4 becomes 2. So it is not yet dead. Firing off 2 arrows. You've got 2 more arrows if you action surge. Just to check that I'm just catch up with the chat, make sure I'm not forgetting anything or missing anything that people are shouting at me. You're good, cool. So you decide you tuck down into your fighting abilities. In that moment, as you fire out 2, and you see this this unicorn whinnying in pain, there's something about the way that the horse legs are moving, steadying itself. There's something about that jolts a memory for you, just a very fleeting memory of this bronze-bodied Adonis of a man on horse legs, helping to train you fight and shouting at you, dig deeper, in Sylvan. Keep fighting, keep fighting! And as he swings down a sword towards you and you bring up your sword to clash against it, you find within yourself this jolt of action, this surge of action. You find within yourself this extra wind to carry on. Draw out 2 more arrows and action surge to fire at the dirt. The first one is going to be a 10 plus 8. It will hit, and it will do. It might be enough. What do you need? Possible, but you have to roll high. 6 I don't think is just enough. Oh no, you've got plus 3. Alright, yeah, just enough. The dirt is no more. The first arrow strikes through the dirt. Oh, actually, halved. I forgot. Unfortunately, your arrows are not magical. That's something you might want to look into, trying to find out how to get magical arrows for situations like this. Because it would have been enough, but it's resistant to piercing damage, so that's 558. So the second arrow comes out, the 4th arrow of this turn, fires it off again. Let's see if you can finish him off. Oh, a 3. A 3, unfortunately, plus 8 is not going to be enough. Even though the dirt guy had a low armor class, it's not quite that low. Would an enchanted bow make this magical? Yes, yeah. If you can get your bow enchanted, or your quiver enchanted, or something like that, then it could work. I need my husband's name, Rob. Well, you're gonna have to remember it then, aren't you? Because it seems like you met him in the Feywild. All right. The 4 attacks. One of them killed, the other one on the verge of dying. The quiver is magical, yes, but not in the way that it would enchant your arrows specifically. The quiver itself has magical, but I was meaning if you enchant your quiver to make your arrows magical. Alright, that is a very good turn, Batmerp. You have your movement left if you want to move anywhere, but that was your bonus action, your action, and your action surge. Do you want to move anywhere, or are you good where you are? You weren't even and you did all that without even facing the right way. Look at that. That's how good you are. Firing past that tree, past Julius, somehow hitting that guy even through all of that shit. I'm going to say that you stepped over here in order to get a better line of sight of the guy you were shooting at. I'm going to say you ran round here, just so that, because otherwise I will have to retcon and say that you fucked up all those attacks. But you ran around here to get a better line of sight without trees and shit in your way. All right. That is you. Well done, Batmerp. We are back on the initiative order with Mel. She's going to stand much better chance stabbing at a guy made of dirt than a guy made of rock. So she's going to go down. She's going to stab at this one. She's already got her militia going. Her militia are going to move over from the clay guy over to the dirt guy. And they're all 3 going to take an attack. That one is Mel. Damn it, Mel, you're not doing great today. What's this about? Do they have... He does have surrounded condition because there are now 4 creatures around him. So they all have advantage. This guy's going to hit or hit, same number both times. Mel is going to miss or hit. That's good. Her miss turns into a hit because they're surrounded. And one of the militia has just failed every single time. one of the clouds of ants is just like, what do you expect me to do? I'm fucking ants. I'm fighting a massive thing, a creature made of dirt. What do you want from me? I'm made of ants. It's remarkable that I'm not dying. But Mel is gonna attack, and the other militia is gonna get enough. Oh, ants, you're drunk. One of the militias is gonna hit for. Oh man, I think the militia are gonna kill it. That'd be crazy. Have the militia ever killed anything? I can't remember. I think the militia have killed things like goblins with like 7 hit points, but I don't think the militia have killed anything before, have they? That's 6, 7, 8, 9, halved to 5, which is enough. The militia get a killing blow. Kill steal as Apis's arrows go shoo shoo shoo, firing into this creature made of dirt that Seed has been fucking whipping at, pecking away at and everything, and then it gets killed by ants. Because it's made of tiny little particles of dirt and rock and soil, the ants come up, and each of them using strength that's like 50 times their own body weight. Each of the ants of Mel's militia come and grab a hold of different particles of soil at strategic locations around where its sort of base is, and they start to dig away at it. And then, like a sand timer, it seems to just like start caving in the middle. The ants are single file taking dirt apart, grain by grain, as this guy is no more. Mel is not going to waste her attack then. She is instead going to use that same attack against this guy, although she wouldn't have had advantage against him because he wouldn't have had the... No, she's not... Oh, she's pretty stupid. Let me think. No, she's not stupid enough to attack rock. So she's just going to stay where she is and fling around.
Is that everybody? Are we good? Is that everything done?
What a world. Alright, that is Mel's turn. It is now your ally's turn. Julius is unable to dispel this guy because he can only do that dispel thing once a day. So he can just like try and hack at him, or he can just leave him. Julius takes a step back and says, he says in telepathic to everybody present, he says, "Leave the remaining one. I've seen creatures like this. If we get out of its range, it won't be able to affect us. With the planes being so thin, it should return to its home plane as soon as we can, as soon as it gets the option to do so." And he is going to use his movement to move. Let's see. Yeah, he's going to move past it, and he's going to continue galloping, and then he's going to use his action to dash, so he ends up on the other side of the hill that you were working on, which is this one right here. This is like the feet of the hill. Julius is going to do his thing. Seed is going to think about attacking this guy, but then Julius tells him to leave it alone until it goes back to its home plane, and Seed isn't all about violence at all. He's just about defending his home. So if he can defend his home by just leaving it alone, he'll do that instead. So Seed whips over here. The enemy on its turn is going to send out a rock at what it can see, which is Mel's militia, and Apis. Where is Apis? Can it see you? Where are you? You're behind that tree, aren't you? You've gone and given yourself half cover from it again. Mel does not have half cover, so its rock comes out and makes an attack against Mel. 16 plus stuff will hit, and she gets slammed for 12 points of damage to Mel. And she gets hit a little bit. A bit buzzes around, but she's okay. She can take it. It can only do one ranged attack. So it is Apis. It's over to Apis. What are you going to do on your last turn of combat? Milzy. Sorry I didn't draw it earlier to give you more chance, but there is not a great deal of turn back into Seed for the heals at the end of his turn. Good idea, Seed. Thank you for the reminder there. So Milzy, while I'm dealing with Seed turning back into Seed, you can think about what you're going to do on your turn. You can still attack this rock monster, but Julius has said like there's not a great deal of point. If you get out of its range, it can't do anything. And then eventually, with the planes being thin as they are, it will leave. Bonus action to drop his owl form and walks over to Julius. Milzy says, "Book it after Julius. Let's go, Mel." All right. So with your action and with your movement and your action, I'll say that you can run as far away in a more direct route as you can away from the rock. On its turn, it's going to take one more attack at long range against you. After your turn, Mel goes, and Mel can move a lot faster than you can, so she can get all the way out of range. So it's going to take one more action at long range from you. It's got disadvantage because of your Displacer Cloak. So 17 or a 6. 6 plus its modifier will not be enough to hit. It slams against a tree as you move. And then on your next turn, you continue to move. You get round the other side of the hill, and you see Seed there healing up Julius. Julius kind of healing his wounds as well. You can see him kind of shaking his head, and this healing magic is coming over his own body. You left your sword, that's right. You left your sword there, but after a certain amount of time, after like a 10 minutes of you hearing this cracking of rock and these small pieces of rock coming flying, like landing on top of the hill nearby, you hear it starting to die out, and then it just seems to stop. And Julius walks out, and he says, "Yes, as I suspected, the plain between this and the Earth realms are thin enough that they come and go. They haven't come for a while though, so I'm still trying to work out what it is that prompts them to arrive or not." He walks back, and the rock has just turned back to normal rock. You go back and grab your sword, back into your sheath, cleaning off the clay and the dirt and things from it. And congratulations, you have experienced the disruption that I've mentioned about why the Sentinels are needed for stopping things like that from happening. It's at this point that a voice appears in your head immediately. You're in the middle of talking to Julius about how something's going to go down, how you're going to get this plant off of you and root it down into the ground beside you. When a voice appears in your mind, you recognize the voice. It's like a window has opened in like a confessional booth in your mind. You recognize the person on the other side of this confessional booth as Vala, and you recognize her voice as she says, "Apis, are you all right? Bri was expecting you for dinner yesterday. She was worried you'd gone back north to the warfront without saying goodbye." And that's where we're going to leave it for today. Thank you for joining me, everybody, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Did you know that this whole campaign is run live on my Twitch channel with the people in chat controlling the actions of Apis Hive? Well, it's free to go and make an account and join in over on Twitch.